Alright, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Tonight, we're back with yet more international action. Unfortunately, we weren't here on Saturday as England beat China 8-0. But we are here this evening as the Lionesses take on Ghana. This is going to be another game where you'd expect England to be the side in full control, but Ghana are a side, Harry, who could provide a bit of a surprise.
Absolutely, we're expecting a somewhat competitive game. Ghana, they did pretty well at the most recent African Cup of Nations. Third place is not bad at all, and they're a side that I think can try and bring something to England and try and make it more competitive than Saturday night was at the very least. Couple of players playing out in the USL, obviously they've got Boya Halorka in the Women's Championship, a couple of players also out in the Liga F. So there's a bit of European experience in there for this Ghana side, and they'll be familiar with playing against players of England's quality. They know how good England could be tonight. They know what to expect. And it's up to them to turn up at St Mary's tonight and give England a very good game.
Absolutely, and we saw England excelling on Saturday night. A bit of a rotated side this evening, though. Are you pleased to see Wiegman using her squad tonight?
Yeah, it's exactly what you want to see. It's the whole point of playing two matches in an international break is one game, you go all out, you see the best 11, the strongest 11 you expect to see in all the big games and all the major international tournaments. But these other games, we're not at Wembley tonight. It's the second game out of the two. It's an opportunity for other players, the squad players, to come into the 11 tonight and to get an opportunity to not only play with each other on the international stage, but to just get some more England caps under their belt. So, yeah, I think it's a good balanced rotation from Wiegman tonight. It's as expected, and yeah, it's positive to see that not all of the star-studded players are playing 180 minutes of football over this international break, and I'm sure their domestic managers will appreciate that a lot.
However, some of them will be playing 180 minutes. And with that said, let's get into the lineup. We'll start with the England sides. We are at the St Mary's Stadium in Southampton for this, on a slightly different setting for this occasion. We've seen a lot of England internationals and the likes of Coventry. We've had a few even more northern than that today. Right down on the south coast in Southampton, the England team is as follows. In goal, a second consecutive start for Anna Morehouse in the absence of both Kiara Keating and the starting keeper, Hannah Hampton. In the back four, Lucy Bronze will never ever be dropped as she's alongside Laetitia, Lotta Wimmoy and Taylor Hines. In the midfield three, it's Kendall Walsh and Missy Bow-Kearns, two Villa players making the starting 11. On one wing, it's Park. On the other, Chloe Kelly. And leading the line, Aggie Beever-Jones. Who are you excited to see then playing for England, Harry? The only players that played both these matches are Morehouse, Bronze, Laetitia and Walsh. So a lot of rotation in there. Who are you excited to see this evening?
I think most of the rotated players, I think top of the list has to be Aggie Beever-Jones. I think she's the real question mark in this England side at the moment, because when she has come in and played for England, she has performed to the highest quality. The game against Australia, most recently, she was absolutely brilliant. And again, another performance from Beever-Jones tonight. You'd expect that to spark that kind of do you go Russo, do you go Beever-Jones debate come those major international tournaments. But Aggie Beever-Jones is definitely one that's kind of part of this rotated 11 that is exciting to see. Great to see Lucia Kendall back, back in the 11, still in the camp, and but cementing herself as a real squad player in this England squad, back on her old stomping ground as well as a former Southampton player. So a big night for her once again, and obviously she had her Wembley debut on Saturday when she came off the bench. But yeah, it's always good to see the rotated players come in, and especially those players that are on the fringes of potentially breaking into that 11. These are the opportunities where they have to show themselves, because obviously I wouldn't expect Kendall to replace Walsh or Stanway in that pivot, but another good performance from her tonight. It just instills that belief in her, and that Wiegman can then turn around to the World Cup, and we know that players like Kendall are going to be in that squad. So it's always a big opportunity. For some people, these games won't be massive, but for those kind of squad players where their position in this squad is up for debate, these kind of games are massive opportunities for them to really show their quality and show their worth to the England side.
Yeah, I think that's exactly true. I think for me, the two that I want to watch tonight are Jess Park on the right wing and Taylor Hines at left back. I think they're the two positions for me that there is the least certainty around. I think if you look at England's full strength starting 11, I would say at left back, you've got a bit of a debate going on there around whether that's going to be Alex Greenwood, whether Greenwood moves back to centre-back, whether that could be Niamh Charles, whether that could indeed be someone like Taylor Hines. So I think for me, that left-back position is one of real contention. And I'd say the same at right wing. I don't think Beth Mead's spot at the 2027, or at least as a starting player at the 2027 World Cup, I don't think that's a nailed-on situation. So I think there is a real chance for Jess Park, especially with her performances for Manchester United. And when we consider how that right wing position functioned at the European Championships last summer, where Lauren James was drifting inside and we saw Bronze overlapping, that's exactly the role that we've seen Park used in at Manchester United. So I think for me, that's a huge opportunity, and I'd be very surprised if Park isn't a starting player by next summer. I think the only debate will come around how you fit Park, Toon and James into the same 11, which isn't possible. But yeah, that's going to be the big debate. So yeah, it should be interesting. I think the other two players I'm most intrigued to see for me. We'll get into the Ghana side, then we'll have a look at the live chat, because a lot of people are getting involved. Thank you. Keep your messages coming in. As for the Ghana team, it looks like a 4-2-3-1 according to FootMob. Do excuse any mistakes with this. FootMob is not 100% accurate when it comes to international games. In goal, it is Conlan, a back four of Simon, Buakie, Adua and Yaboa. In the pivot, it's Kudjo alongside Asantewa. On one wing, it's Kusi. On the other, Niameke. In the attacking midfield, then, Boya Khloka. And leading the line, Bua Dua. Do excuse my pronunciations as well if any of those are incorrect. But where are those big threats for Ghana this evening, Harry?
Again, it's very similar to the side that we saw play the majority of the African Cup of Nations. It's that front four for me that, again, look very, very sharp. And if they can link up together, they may be able to cause England problems. I think that was the biggest criticism of China, was they were sat so deep and they were so passive that they never came forwards. And obviously, people will argue that if they come forwards, there's a chance they're going to concede and be vulnerable, but they conceded 8 anyway. So there would have been no harm in them pushing up and trying to take the game for England. I hope Ghana tonight don't get boxed in their own penalty area. And if they can get the ball out wide, get wingers running at that England back line, maybe if Lucy Bronze pushes up, you've got a bit of space in behind there, because England will be aggressive tonight. You'll expect them to want to be high up the pitch, want to have a lot of players in that Ghana final third and look to put a lot of pressure onto the away side. It's up to Ghana to carry a bit of attacking threat, and as I said, they can get that front four involved, they can link up together, make sure they're not too far away from each other, because if that happens, you're just going to get isolated against some of the best defenders in the world that are part of that England backline. So got to work as a unit, got to be a lot tighter defensively than China were. Just, box defending from Ghana has to be good tonight, and when they get the opportunity to get on the ball, got to move it quickly and got to try and find those attacking players that may be able to cause England a problem on the break.
I was going to say, they've got a quite quick front line from what I've heard, so I think in terms of being able to hurt England tonight, if they can be strong in transition, if they can break away quickly, that could be to England's detriment. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic shifts throughout the game. As I say, a lot of people getting involved in the live chat. Thank you so much for getting involved. Liu Chen saying, I was at England vs China game, first time at Wembley, amazing atmosphere. Had a lot of people praising the atmosphere for that game, which is incredible to see, because I remember going to the US, the game against the US, the game against Germany. We were given tickets for England, Portugal as well, I think it was, earlier this year. And I always feel the atmosphere at Wembley, for me, it's not the same as a club game. And I love the tribalism of a club. But it's great to hear people really enjoying the atmosphere at Wembley. I mean, it may have got a lot better since we've last been. But yeah, I don't know whether you'd say anything about that, Harry.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think goals bring atmosphere. If you look at those games that you mentioned, the USA game was a 0-0.
There were 6 in the game against Portugal.
There were, that is true. So maybe that's a bit of an outlier. The Germany game, obviously England were losing, but when your team score 8 goals, and especially in the way they were kind of spread across the game with 5 in one half, 3 in the other, it managed to keep up the atmosphere and the energy for the whole 90 minutes, and hopefully we'll see another good atmosphere tonight for the Lionesses. And I mean, if we see another 8 goals, I'll be a bit surprised, but you never know. Football's a funny game sometimes. But yeah, I think it'll be, hopefully, this is the whole point of playing these games in places like Southampton. It gives, people not, to get different atmospheres, different people to the game. So yeah, hopefully it's another really good atmosphere tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 5 minutes till kickoff, so we will get into some scoreline predictions. If you're watching along, get involved in the live chat. I can already see a lot of people commenting Ghana, which is fantastic to see. But we want a scoreline prediction. So England vs Ghana, what you think the scoreline will be? The poll in chat already 220 votes before we've kicked off here. 42% England. 48% Ghana. A lot of people backing the underdog today, which is fantastic to see. Thanks everyone who is tuning into the stream. 9% going for a draw as well. As for our scoreline predictions, we'll start with yourself, Harry, and then we'll get to those in chat. But we'll start with yourself. What is your prediction as England take on Ghana at St Mary's.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with the poll in chat. I think England will take this one. I don't think it'll be quite as dominant as it was on Saturday, and I think Ghana will put up a better resolve than China did. I will say England 4, Ghana 0. I think it will still be convincing from the Lionesses, but I don't think it will get out of hand. And as I say, I think Ghana have got a bit more about them than China did, and I think they'll defend with a bit more. Not don't say respect for themselves, because of course China want to play well, but I think Ghana have just got a little bit of extra quality that will test the Lionesses a little bit more tonight. But I will say England goals to come through, a double for Beaver Jones, a goal for Lucia Kendall back on her kind of home turf, and then a goal for, I'll go for a bit of a rogue one, I'll say the 4th goal will be scored by Taylor Hines.
Fair enough, that is a very rogue one. I don't think it's going to be as big a scoreline as it was in the China game. I think one thing worth noting on the China match is that the Chinese Women's Super League, their season ended 2 months ago. I think what was very noticeable in the game on Saturday night was that they just looked very fatigued compared to England. Obviously, the Women's Super League is still ongoing. All the England players are playing week in, week out. So I thought that was, a big difference. I don't think that'll be the case today. I think Ghana will be up for it. However, I do think England will take control of this game. I think it will be, I'm going to say, a 3-0 win for England. Perhaps a little modest. I think we could get a few more goals, but I think Ghana will put up a bit more of a stronger fight. And I think with England playing a very rotated side, it may take time just for that to click. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to say an Aggie Beever-Jones brace. I think she's always firing when she plays for England. And I'm going to say Jess Park as well. I think she'll really want to give Serena Wiegmann a headache this evening, give her something to think about going into the next World Cup, because you've got a lot of key players in those attacking midfield and wide player positions, and so there's going to be a lot of debate as to who's going to start where. So I think that Jess Parker put on a really good performance and give Wiegmann a bit of a headache. We've got a couple of predictions coming in. Lee Chen saying 5-0 England, going similarly with a big result. H just saying, just found out Shakira Martinez is German. Indeed.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's been the case for her whole life. I
don't think it's changed anytime recently. Will Sharp saying, let's go Ghana. And yeah, it's great to see so much support for Ghana in the live chat. 51% now of the live chat back in Ghana this evening. So it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of fight this team can put out on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that it's one of those where, of course, they want to compete, but similar to China on Saturday, as much as they were embarrassed, what an opportunity to play against the reigning European champions and to be at Wembley. Tonight for Ghana, it's not at Wembley, but still, to play against and to be able to test yourself against one of the best nations in the world is a massive opportunity, and Ghana have got to take that. It's not very often these kind of friendlies come around. It's a massive opportunity for them to play against England tonight, and if they can take that, and it also from an individual point of view, if someone for Ghana plays well, if one of the players plays well tonight, you put yourself on the radar of a couple of maybe some big teams that are going to be watching this game. If you put in a good performance against some of the best players in the world, you're going to get onto other people's radars. So it's a massive opportunity, not only for Ghana as a nation, but also the players as individuals, if they're looking for that next step to prove by proving themselves against the best of the best tonight. It may give them some good opportunities later down the line.
Yeah, I think as you say, it says younger players that we're focusing on, because obviously we know Chantel Boyer-Clark is a very capable WSL2 player. She had a really good season with Nottingham Forest. But it's those younger players mentioned in the chat saying, watch out for Grace Asantewa. That will be one to look out for, the middle midfielder. She's playing in the Liga MX. You've also got Stella Nyamekye. And I think in terms of someone who's a young player, can really take that step up. She was in the NWSL last season. She moved to the USL Super League this season with Fort Lauderdale United. So in terms of someone who can take that next step, this is the kind of platform that a player like that can really benefit from.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that it's obviously, of course, it's difficult. It's not easy just to turn up and perform against the European champions away from home. But if you can put in a solid performance, if you as I spoke about earlier, don't come to England and get turned over 8-0. Put in a good performance. Go to the very end. Give it everything. And then when you get an opportunity to get on the ball, you look sharp. You look lively. You be positive with it. You're going to impress a lot of people. So yeah, it's definitely a big opportunity for them to come to play against England and to put in a good performance and to see where they're at. And it also helps them prepare for the big tournaments. I mentioned they finished third in the AFCON this year, but it's these kind of games that prepare them for this, because although they are not really playing a side of England's quality, by playing against this level of player, this calibre of players, you prepare yourself very well for any opposition, because there isn't not any other nation they'll come up against in the world that is that much better than England, or is on par with England at all. So yeah, it's a really good test tonight for the coaches and the players of Ghana to see what kind of level they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Ochu Isaac really putting on the praise for Aston Taylor, saying she's the Michael Essien of that Ghana midfield.
Wow.
That is very high praise. Fantastic player was Michael Essien. So we'll see if she can live up to that comparison. But it will be Ghana to get us underway here at St Mary's. And it is Boudoir from the middle, knocks it back and we're underway here at St Mary's. It's England taking on Ghana in this women's international friendly. And it's England who immediately turn over possession. I think for England tonight, it's going to be interesting to see who can step up in the absence of quite a few key players. Notably, I think every player that scored on Saturday night is not involved this evening.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be interesting to see who can step up. Morehouse into Letitia. Nice turn there from Kendall. Shifts out wide into Bronze. Now back inside to Kira Walsh. And now it's Kendall again. He looks to go down the line. Finds Park in the pocket. She's got space to drive into now. Jess Park plays it forwards into Aggie Beaver-Jones. But she slips there on the St Mary's turf and breaks down that attack. A bit of a mess here for the back. At the back for Ghana. Here is Jess Park. Tries to squeeze that pass out to Kelly. Intercepted really well there by Aston Taylor. But her pass forward not quite as successful. England back in possession. Here's Hines. There was quite a nervy start for Ghana as they just can't really clear their lines. Here's Kelly, squares up against the fullback. Not a good ball into the box though, and that's an easy claim for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Ghana want to settle down. I think that, again, on Saturday, China never really got into the game, and then once England got one goal, the floodgates opened and England were 3-0 up a few minutes later. It's important for Ghana tonight not only to get into the game, warm yourself up, but go through the stages and keep things tight in this first 5-10 minutes, but also if England do go a goal ahead, they've got to keep their heads up. They've got to keep going, because China kind of just fell apart and England, it was an absolute rampage. If Ghana can, keep at that level, even if England do score tonight, then it'll make it a much more competitive game.
Yeah, it's about that intensity, isn't it? I think when you're playing an opponent of this level, we saw China switched off. Not necessarily switched off, but they lost belief and their heads dropped. And Ghana can't afford to do that, as you say, no matter the scoreline. Edward Wynn says, nice to see lots of new faces. Indeed, I'm very happy Wiegman is trusting her squad. This is something we haven't seen her do enough over the last few years, so I think that's really important. Especially as we're moving towards what I would say is a new international cycle for England. I think a lot of the players, that we've seen be very successful will move on in the next edition. So I think it's really important now that Wiegman nails that transition. Pass out to the left-hand side. Yeboah won't quite get there. Park does well in the press. Now looking for support, finds Bronze, shifts it inside, Missy Bo Kearns, that's intercepted really well in midfield, and now it is with Antigua who can try and drive it forward. She's clipped by Bronze though, and that is a foul.
Yeah, it's a good start from England. They've been right up onto Ghana, putting them under pressure and forcing those mistakes, just haven't been able to capitalise so far, but this is what I like, this is what I'm saying Ghana have got to do tonight. England turned the ball over quickly, but immediately Ghana pounced on it and they looked to drive it out of the midfield, and Bronze was forced to commit the foul. But that's what Ghana need to do. Get on the ball, look to be positive, look to drive forwards and take the game to England.
Yeboah plays it in behind. I don't know if she's timed that well, but they're in behind here, and Ruben Moy does well to get back in there, and the offside flag was up. And you could see there, before the pass even played, that it just looked like Boudoir moved a little bit too early. And yeah, did make that run too soon.
Yeah, just about. Ruben Moy got away with one a little bit there, caught flat-footed, and if she had timed that correctly, then it could have been a dangerous opportunity. But yeah, I think, again, another big night for that England back line. None of what you'd call the kind of leaders for England in that back line. Obviously, Millie Bright not part of the setup anymore. Williamson out injured.
Still got Lucy Bronze.
You have, but I think the centre-half partnership, of Ruben Moy and Letitia, it's an opportunity for both of them to play without having a more senior, not senior in terms of age, but in terms of leadership-wise, that kind of centre-half alongside them. Yeah, of course, Bronze is still there. Bronze will still very much be able to dictate and organise from right back.
Bronze will still be playing the 2035 World Cup.
Yeah.
When we host it. She'll only be, what, 45, something like that?
Oh, she can still play for
Maybe
England.
older. Forget how old she is now. Yeah, she's 34 now, so she'll be 44 in time for that World Cup. Ruben heads away well. Here's Kelly, and that looked like handball, and it has been given as such there against Nia Makier. And so England now building out from the back. Letitia into Bronze, finds Walsh, who looks to turn out and play now. Wants to play that in behind. Wasn't quite available though. Goes into Kendall, now Park, who shifts back inside, and Kendall now turns well on the ball. Looking for support, plays it across to Hines. Hines into Missy Kearns, who touches it into Kelly, who's got a lot of space to work with now. Chloe Kelly, not a bad ball in towards the back post. Yeboah touch it down, and Kendall's there to capitalise. And Lucia Kendall, on just her second England start, tucks home a goal. And that's England 1, Ghana 0. And a big mistake at the back there for Ghana, and it's Kendall on hand to catch them out. Pokes it home well, and England lead here in Southampton.
What a moment for Kendall. First England goal, and what a place to do it as well, in her hometown. It's a really good finish. It's a tidy finish, just takes advantage of the Ghana mistake. Good football from England down the left-hand side, and Ghana got caught a bit high there. Players didn't really seem to rush back. Good ball into the box from Kelly. Yeboah should just clear it. Instead, she knocks it down straight into the path of Kendall, who runs onto it well and passes it into almost an empty net. Really good, tidy finish by Kendall. But Ghana, we spoke about errors, we spoke about being organised and not making mistakes in the early stages. But that is a bit of a difficult one off the shin of the fullback, and Kendall punishes.
Yeah, I think both fullbacks at fault for that one. It was Yeboah on the right-hand side who made a fairly strange challenge, which got catalysed on by Kelly. And then it was Simon, the left-back, at fault really for touching it down to Kendall. And England asserting themselves early on then in this game. Ghana in possession.
And this is now the big test for Ghana. It's exactly what we spoke about a moment ago. They cannot afford to switch off, keep making errors and let England run right. They've got to keep themselves in the game and keep that intensity up.
Yeah. And here is Bouakier. Out now to the right-hand side. Bouakier under pressure. Squeeze it through to Asantewa. Lovely footwork there from the Ghanaian midfielder. Now knocks it out wide to Simon. And here come Ghana. Nice drive into the middle of the pitch here. Into a crowded area. Asantewa. Lovely shift there. And body feint gets it into Yeboah. Back now to Bouakier. And now Dua. Out to the left-hand side. Kusi. Trying to come inside. Opts to go back into Dua. That's just one off Asantewa. It almost feels like Ghana have grown in confidence since conceding, which is it's a great response to conceding a goal, but you'd have liked them to start playing like this from minute one.
Yeah, exactly that. It's very brave, it's very bold to come to the home of the European champions and to get on the ball, try and play out the back and try and play through the press. It's risky, and as you say, in the early stages it was a bit sloppy and it cost them to concede, but now, a good passage of play there on the ball, although England have won it back. That was much better from Ghana. Just a lot calmer, a little bit slower, but that's not necessarily bad when you're just trying to keep possession and stop England coming at you.
Yeah, they got Asantewa on the ball, and I can see why the praise is there. Clearly a very agile player, clearly a very comfortable player, the ball at her feet. Hines, back now into Lotte Wubben-Moy. Missy Kearns receives well, and now to Letitia. He's got a lot of room here and is unopposed. Finds Park in the pocket, who plays it into Bronze. Now inside to Kendall, who takes it in her stride nicely. Wants to spread the play to the left-hand side. Back to Walsh. Now Park. Bronze makes the run beyond, and she'll look to pick out the veteran fullback, who looks to come inside. Kusi gets back in there. It's now with Kendall, who goes into Beaver Jones. Good hold up there from the Chelsea and England forward. Kendall. Now Hines shifts it wide into Kelly, who takes a positive touch, puts the ball inside, and that an overhit cross again from Chloe Kelly.
Yeah, again, just looking to find one of Beaver Jones and Parker managed to hit it over Beaver Jones and too far in front of Jess Park, and both had timed it pretty well, to be fair. Would have been a tight one, but again, good stuff from England, moving the ball from back to front. Bronze getting very, very high on that right-hand side. And Ghana have just got to be careful because England are throwing numbers forward quite aggressively at the moment.
Phil, welcome to the stream. It says, evening all, good to see you, Phil. Here is Ruben Moy. Walsh. Back to Ruben Moy, a characteristically confident start for England in this game. Now, Maya Letitia.
Yeah, it's a perfect start really for England. I think as a manager and as a team, you know you're in a good position to win this one. You know you're the favourites to win it quite comfortably, but you always want to get that early goal just to settle any problems and to kind of dismiss any chance of an upset.
Bronze. Now Kendall finds Park in the pocket again, who's going to squeeze the ball out wide, ball into the area. Now chance for Kelly, and she probably should have done better with that one. The ball whipped across the box, and she met it at a good height and good pace, but couldn't quite send it goalwards.
Yeah, really got to do better this one. Chloe Kelly, good football again from England. It's Kira Walsh actually with the ball in from the right-hand side, popping up on that right-hand side. Very rare to see, but yes, a really good ball in.
She times the run to perfection there, Kelly,
Yeah.
but she just, I don't know what she does to the contact, sends it over.
It just wasn't convincing. It wasn't meaningful as a player in that position. You've got to get over it and just thump it. Although you're so close to the goal that if you keep it down, it's going to go in. No goalkeeper is going to save that unless they get a bit of fortune.
Lovely flick there from Asan Tewa into Niamakie. And now with the overlapping, Yeboah waits for support. And now back to Niamakie. Pass back into Boakie. Out wide looking for Kusi. One back well in there by Bronze, and it drops to Kendall. Bronze again. Now Letitia. And it's one back really well in here, and now Asan Tewa. And they can come forward. So Ruben Moy's been caught out, and a chance now. Strike from range. And that's saved well by Morehouse. But already there, the Ghana forward looking like a handful. Boadua.
Yeah, it does.
Picks up the ball in here. I mean, I'm not sure what Lotte Ruben Moy's doing there. Just gets caught out by the movement of the forward.
Yeah, just seems to lose her footing almost. Well, yeah, predicted it incorrectly. And I tell you what, Ghana, that is a shot on target. It's a really positive reaction to going a goal behind. You know, we spoke about them getting on the ball and having a bit of sustained possession, but that time they did well to win the ball off England heart of the pitch and then capitalise on an error and force Morehouse into a, you know, it was a comfortable save, but it was a save nonetheless.
Yeah, Letitia. Ball now down the line looking for Beaver Jones. He does get it off Simon, then it's knocked out of play by the Ghanaian fullback. I think it's a big night for Ruben Moy. I think when you consider that there's no Reed, Williamson, Greenwood, Carter or Morgan, this is a big opportunity for her. And I think she's, you know, you want to see a strong performance from her.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, it's what we spoke about in the build-up. There's certain players in the squad where this may be, you never know, it's maybe their one, I'm sure it might not be, but for some players, it might be their one opportunity to impress Wiegman.
Park now, ball in, hangs it up in the air, and it's claimed really well by the Ghanaian goalkeeper, Conlan.
Yeah, going to be a busy night, you expect, for Conlan, but she's done well so far. Couldn't have really done too much about the goal with how close it was, but, you know, a couple of good claims so far, which is good because I think it also it's emulated into the outfield players as well. There's a bit of confidence about Ghana. It's really promising to see that, you know, they understand who they're playing against and that they're really putting up a good performance.
Great switch to play there from Nia Mekier. And that's headed away by Bronze, and that will be into the hands of Anna Morehouse. And Morehouse wasn't particularly tested in that China game. Already had to face a shot early on, albeit a fairly tame effort. But it'll be interesting to see if we can see her tested a little bit more this evening. Here is Ruben Moy.
Yeah, it's a bit of it's a weird position to be in because obviously, while you never want to concede and...
Great ball through there from Missy Kearns, finds Beaver Jones. And Beaver Jones, you feel, just backed out of that one. Could see Dua coming into the challenge and she didn't fancy that risk. Kelly back now to Walsh. Hines knocks it down the line. Kelly's going to get there. Well, actually, it's one back by Yeboah, who does well up against Chloe Kelly. Asantewa now carries it past Missy Bokerns. Great drive. There's a pullback in there from the villain. And I think she'd be lucky to get away with the yellow card, and she won't be lucky on this occasion. It's a booking for Missy Bokerns.
Yeah, as expected there. But again, more positive football from Ghana. It's exactly what I spoke about a moment ago. They're being positive. They're coming at England when they get the opportunity. They're bringing the ball forwards. They're happy to run it out of defence. It's risky, but it's working so far. And yeah, Missy Bokerns having to take the card for the pullback there. But yeah, I think just to mention Beaver Jones backing out there, I think it exactly shows where England are kind of at for this game, or certain players. I think Beaver Jones, as somebody who has only recently come back from picking up an injury on international break, the last thing she wants is to now be on the end of a poor tackle and pick up another injury. So I think they will be conservative England to at the very least tonight.
Here is Ruben Moy. Now Letitia. Marjoram, by the way, saying it's on ITV in the UK. If you are looking to watch the game, that is how you can. Kelly round the corner, driving the ball forwards. Now Missy Bokerns waiting for some support. Goes back to Hines. Now Letitia. This is a perfect game for Lotta to impress. Should be on the ball more than having to defend. Yeah, I think that's more suited to her. But yeah, I mean that you'd want to see some decent defending from her. It's sort of that's the part of her game which I think massively lets her down.
And I think that's why I'm more interested in this friendly than I was more about about the China game. Was that we mentioned a moment ago Morehouse already being tested. I think Ghana give you a decent game where you're going to be comfortable, so you can give opportunities to rotation players, but you also know they're going to get tested. Like, no offence to China at all, but Morehouse didn't have to make a save. So how could Wiedemann tell from that game whether Morehouse was good enough to play for England? Yeah. Whereas tonight, I think players like Wumamoy and Morehouse, although the majority of the time it will be on the ball and being positive, they will be tested tonight at times. We've already seen it in this first 16 minutes. Ghana are happy to come at England, so I think this friendly for me is not a bad game at all, because it gives England an opportunity where there will be a couple of things to deal with and they will be tested a little bit, but on the whole it should be pretty comfortable. Turning up at Wembley and smashing China 8-0, I'm not really sure what we learned from that, but I think we can learn a little bit more from tonight than we did on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's a waste of an international break, but I think games like this you can get value from. Yeboah on the ball. Back now to do under pressure from Beaver Jones does well.
It's brave. It's really brave from Ghana.
I think as well for a side like Ghana, this is a massive opportunity to test yourself, as we mentioned before, stream, but test yourself against a really strong opponent. Ryan Marjoram asking, any good Ghana players we can scout for Arsenal? I have to say the player I've been most impressive so far, and this won't come as a surprise, is Grace Asantewa. I mean, we heard some strong praise for her in the live chat before the stream, but I think she's looked phenomenal. Plays her club football in the Liga MX for Juarez. Number 5, if anyone wants to keep tabs. And I mean, she's my favourite brand of player. A diminutive defensive midfielder who is very press resistant, a really strong dribbler. I think, yeah, player I'm massively impressed with in the first 16 minutes. Very early to make those sort of calls, but yeah, she looks sharp. Missy Bokerns here, nice run in the pocket. Now looks to slip it in behind for Jess Park. Too much on that. And Conlan out well to claim it.
Yeah, it's been an interesting night so far for Missy Bokerns. I think, again, she's kind of one of those players where we don't see her in very many squads. Let's be honest, she's probably got, if everyone was fully fit, would she be in this squad? No. So this is a good opportunity for Missy Bokerns to impress, and I think just in these first 18 minutes, it's just looked a little bit uncomfortable. And again, it all comes, I'm sure she'll settle down at some point and really get into the rhythm of the game, but couple of miss-hit passes, obviously already picked up a yellow card as well, which isn't ideal. Just needs to settle down to the game a little bit, I feel.
Yeah, Morehouse. Now, Ruben Moy. Now it's with Walsh. Looking out to the right-hand side with Letitia. Knocks it down the line. And here is Lucy Bronze. Shifts inside well to Kendall. Back to Walsh. Now Missy Bo Kearns, who receives it well there in there under pressure. Now Letitia. Looking to switch the play. She'll find Chloe Kelly now isolated up against Yeboah. What can Kelly do? Goes back to Taylor Hines. Hines shifts it inside to Missy Bo Kearns. Now Kelly. That's blocked well by Nia Mekye. That's cleared well out of play by Asantewa.
Yeah, it's nice to see a defensive midfielder that can go both ways. I think it's that kind of bracket of player that you just look at and you just think, wow, that's an incredible talent. You don't get very many in the game, so when they do come along, it's good to see them.
Yeah, I think Ghana have got a nice balance in the pivot because you've got in there Kujo, who plays in the USL Super League. And she looks much more of a destroyer profile, much more of a strong tackler, strong physical presence in there, alongside then Asantewa, who is much more technically gifted, but is also, not weak. And that's important. Chloe Kelly down now. She struggled a bit so far to take on Yeboah. I think it's been an interesting matchup. Yeboah, 18 years old, plays in the Liga F as well. Another player to keep an eye on. Yeah, Kelly down here with a bit of discomfort. And this will be concerning for Kelly.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit more of, I'd guess, a bit of aggravation of something that was already there potentially, because I don't think there was any contact. It wasn't involved in any collisions or anything, and she's not rolling around on the floor in pain. She's just sat there holding her knee, it seems to be. So I wonder, maybe for Kelly, if this is more of something previous that she may have done some damage to, which isn't ideal at all for Arsenal or for England. It would doubly hurt Arsenal if she did have to come off and they brought on Beth Mead, because Beth Mead's going to get a rest tonight.
Well, if she is to come off, I think Freya Godfrey could be in line for a first England appearance. I'm surprised we're not seeing her involved from the start this evening.
Yeah, I think it's... to be fair, I thought we would have seen Godfrey. But yeah, especially now, England we're 1-0 up, if Kelly does need to come off. You don't learn anything from putting Beth Mead on the pitch. You don't learn anything from putting any other wings on the pitch. So to give Godfrey that go.
Phil says, get Kelly off. These internationals are so stupid. I think this is a bad one. Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, it looked fairly innocuous, the contact, but she does seem to be down in some discomfort. I mean, Kelly hasn't been a key player at Arsenal this season, but it would be a blow for them to miss a squad player. And it would be Beth Mead. It's Beth Mead who's coming on. And I have to say that is disappointing. In my opinion, I thought Beth Mead was fantastic on Saturday evening. It's the kind of game where she could really excel up against China, but again, as you say, I'm not sure what we learn from having Beth Mead on now.
Yeah, and I think if Renee Slagers is sat at home watching this game, she's probably not, she might be, and she's not only annoyed that Chloe Kelly's now come off with an injury, but she's doubly annoyed because Beth Mead is going to play another 70 minutes of football.
She's chucked a Skyrim out across the room.
Yeah,
Fuming.
She's had enough. But yeah, that's a double blow really for Arsenal. Kelly looks to be injured, and Mead is now going to have to play another 70 minutes. Yeah,
that is a concerning one. I think the only silver lining, I mean, the problem for Arsenal is they've got some very big games coming up with Champions League qualification on the line. I mean, it looks very unlikely now that they'll get into the automatic qualification spots, but they're not guaranteed into the playoffs at this stage. So, yeah, they could do... They need all the star players they can get, and this isn't an ideal situation for Arsenal at all. The silver lining, I would say, though, is that there is only 2 WSL matches between now and the winter break. So this is the right sort of time in the season. If you're going to pick up an injury, do it now, and you can recover then before January.
Yeah, that is true. Don't ask Man City 2 years ago, though, because they completely... not 2 years ago, last year, they completely fell apart at this point of the year.
That is true. They got to December and everything went wrong. But yeah. Asantewa now across to Yeboah. I just find the international break breaks up the WSL season too much. Because in the last 6 weeks, we have seen 2 WSL matches.
It's crazy.
And I'm missing it. I'm really missing it. And in those WSL matches, we saw what? I think we saw Chelsea, Arsenal and And the Manchester derby?
Yeah.
Well, it was 3 weeks actually in the last 7 or something like that. Might be slightly off my maths.
And then we only get 2 weeks, and we're off. Everyone's off for Christmas.
Then we've got 2 more WSL game weeks, and the Women's League Cup, of course, which is now 5 days before Christmas, or 4 days in the case of the Arsenal game on the Sunday. But Taylor Hines now with the throw-in on this near side. H says, as an Arsenal fan, let's just cancel this season. Yeah, it's not going ideal for Arsenal at this stage. I tried to play it forward, and that's knocked out of play, and that'll be an England throw. I feel like so much has happened as well in the last 2 weeks. I've completely forgotten what was happening in the WSL.
Yeah, again, it just you have League Cup, you have the internationals obviously are going on. Most of it's friendlies, the Nations League. You got Nations League second legs as well. I believe that's tonight actually as well. Obviously Germany and Spain.
I think Spain are 3-0 up. I saw someone say.
Oh, well, that's
killed all the fun.
Yeah. And again, you beg the question.
Oh, they've won 3-0, yeah.
You beg the question, why have a 2-legged final? Because Germany were were much better side in the first leg. They drew 0-0, and we saw Christian Vuk have a bit of a spat. We saw Elena Demonstrescu, help Spain a lot in that game.
Yeah.
If that was a 1-leg final, Germany, that game would drawn 0-0. They'd gone extra time penalties, and Germany may have won that game. But instead, Spain got to go again, play a bit of a stronger side, and then just smash them 3-0 at home.
Yeah, that's brilliant, by the way, there from Cussy to hold on to the ball, and Garner now progressing to the right-hand side. Dua knocks it into Yeboah. He's looking to go down the line. That's one back really well in there by Beth Mead. Now Walsh. Great turn in there from Kira Walsh. No, the pass forward isn't great, and now Garner will look to break. Nia Mekye. Under pressure from Hines, loses possession. Mead shifts it inside to Missy Kearns. Now across to Kendo, who looks to spread the play. It's Park. Goes wider still into Bronze. Now Park. Can she create something here? Shifts it into Kendall, who can play it into the box. Chance now for Missy Kearns, and that should have been a better shot there from Missy Kearns. Saved well though by Conlan. Garner looking to break away. But to no avail.
Again, another good opportunity for Missy Kearns. I spoke about her having a bit of a tough evening so far. This is the kind of opportunity you've got to be taking. Again, brilliant from England. The run from Kendall is superb. Picked out by Park. Kendall again with an effort. Another good save from Conlan. But the Ghanaian goalkeeper being called into action a little bit now in the last couple of minutes. But again, brilliant from Kendall. Cut it back to Missy Kearns for the first one, who just didn't manage to get much behind it. And a good save with the feet from the goalkeeper. And this one, England, again, you take it quickly from the throw. Beaver Jones knocks it back to Kendall, who caught it nicely first time and forced another decent save out of Conlan.
Yeah, Shamadid are making a great point, saying Kendall looks like she wants to impress so much. She takes the most of her opportunities with England. I completely agree. I think she's a player who, not only with her performances for England, but also performances for Aston Villa this season, a player didn't know much about coming into the campaign. And I think I almost, not in a harsh way, but wrote her off as just a young player that Villa have brought in as a rotation option. But with Beijing's there, and with Missy Kearns, and with Mira Taylor as another option in there as well, you assume that she would be a helpful rotation option. But she's come in as one of the most important players.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, she's impressed massively and deserves these opportunities she's getting with England. And as you say, Shamadizl, she is taking those opportunities. She looks so impressive in an England shirt, and she's playing herself into contention for a starting spot in the World Cup squad. We are so far away from that tournament still, and I think there's still so much that can happen between now and then. But if we're looking at that squad and you're looking at that competition in midfield, for me, she's ahead of Ruby Mace now. She's ahead of Maisie Simmons. I still think Grace Clinton is over her, but Clinton struggled so much with injuries at the start of this campaign, being, in and out of the England squad. But yeah, I think she's really staking a claim to a place in that squad.
Yeah.
Walsh feeds it through the lines. Great ball in behind. Here's Beaver Jones now, who looks inside for her options. It's good defending in there from Boakye, and she thinks she was fouled, but referee, those complaints fall on deaf ears, and it's out for a corner.
Yeah, getting good football by England. Great ball through from Walsh into Beaver Jones, who again just didn't seem to pick it up at full pace or have that kind of burst away that we'd anticipate. I mean, I think Barakio's probably got an argument a bit there. Was given a bit of a push there from Beaver Jones, but England corner, alas.
Indeed, as you say, chance now for England to cause some damage from this corner. And it's Taylor Hines over it. Hines delivers it in towards the back post, and that is claimed really well by Conlan. He gets up high and claims it. And threat dealt with there by the Ghanaian goalkeeper.
Yeah, had a good game so far, Conlan. I think it's absolutely crucial that we spoke about it on the domestic stage, but I also think on the international stage, having a good goalkeeper can make a massive difference. Again, you look at the sides that have won trophies this year. The European champions England have got Hannah Hampton, who's probably the best goalkeeper, or at least one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now. Nigeria won the AFCON with Enandozie in there. And, again, you look at all the top nations and they've got the best goalkeepers in the world.
I think it's a differentiator. You think back to World Cups gone by where the level between the top and the bottom was so large. But I think now it's closing so quickly, and a good goalkeeper is such a big part of that. I think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, I believe we're going to an expanded World Cup in Brazil. Am I right?
Yes, I think so.
Or is it the tournament after that? I can't remember.
It's expanding at some point.
We've definitely got an expanded World Cup coming up, and I think that's a prime opportunity for sides like Ghana. I mean, we know that the African qualification spots, the CAF spots, are so hotly contested. Qualifying ahead of someone like Nigeria will be very difficult. But after the likes of Nigeria, you'd think that Ghana would be in with a good shout. I mean, Morocco are probably going to be quite a solid team. I think they've looked quite good, if I'm not mistaken. So. But I think Ghana are one that are very much up and coming, and I think can be a force to be reckoned with going into that next World Cup. I mean, we saw at the last World Cup how sides from what would be perceived as lesser nations were incredibly strong. So, I think that gap is bridging slowly. Here's Kendall. Knocks out to the right-hand side. Hines trying to play it down the line. That's poked away really well by Simon.
Yeah, really good. I mean, this game is the perfect demonstration of exactly what we're talking about. Half an hour played and only trailing England by a goal to nil is good, especially when you consider that goal came very early on in the first 5 minutes. It's now been 26 minutes since England scored. And I think it was 6 minutes. Yeah, 25 minutes since England last scored. And it just shows that reaction from Ghana has been very strong, but also that resolve. They've held on. They haven't just crumbled and fallen apart and allowed England to dominate. They've got a bit of a foothold on this game.
Kelly, good ball in, and the goalkeeper's made a bit of a hash of that, but she's got away with it. And that could have been a big clanger, but perhaps counting her lucky stars, that one.
She can smile and laugh about it now, but her heart was in her mouth where she came to claim that cross and got completely misjudged the flight of the ball.
And just as we were praising Conlan, that a bit of a howler. Completely misjudged that one. It's the 2031 edition that it's going on. So 2027 will still be 32 teams. But 2031 will be 48 teams. I have to say, when I first heard that, I was somewhat concerned about how possible that was going to be in terms of 48 quality teams. I think now that we're starting to see more competitive sides, it should make for a good tournament. But it's going to be interesting. The jump up to 32 was already quite big, but we've seen how in the last edition that was a lot. That gap between sides was a lot closer. So we're interested to see how 48 teams, whether we still have those teething issues or whether it is slightly more seamless.
Yeah, I mean, to put into perspective, Ghana are ranked 67th in the world, which feels a bit, I think the way they've played, you wouldn't really think that.
It's Beaver Jones, but I think they're ranked below China. And they've looked a considerably better side than China.
Yeah, that is true.
But again, it comes down to just being in different confederations and stuff like that.
The rankings are a bit strange sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think that they'll definitely be hoping to be one of those 32 teams in Brazil in a couple of years' time.
Yeah. So Ghana coming forwards now. Kirsty trying to knock it out to the right-hand side. Picked off there by Taylor Hines. Ball bounces around, drops down for Missy Bocones, who tries to feed it through. It's going to drop for Beaver Jones in the box. It's saved. It's a little bit haphazard there, but it is denied by the Ghana goalkeeper.
Again, it's, as you say, a bit unorthodox, but it was stopped nonetheless. And again, a good use of the feet from Conlan. Beaver Jones here gets put for on goal. Does take a little nick, I think, off the defender. And Conlan does well to adjust there and get a foot to poke it away from goal.
Beaver Jones, now Walsh. Knocks around the corner into Mead. And now Letitia. Feels it's crazy that under-23s have played the toughest opponents in this break. Yeah. Kendall now, that's blocked well. And it's cleared away. Only as far, though, as Beth Mead. But I mean, yeah, the USWNT under-23 is still an incredibly high calibre of team.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good test for the...
Yeah, I saw they played against Slovakia's senior side, and they won that game 1-0. I think it was... I want to say Ali Sentner scored in that game, but I might be wrong. That might have been the senior side. But as you say, it was a good test.
Yeah, it was a good test for the young Lionesses. I thought last night against America, I think that, did okay first. I thought second half got away from a little bit.
Park cuts inside. That's brilliant from Park, wriggling away through. Shot low, just wide of the mark.
Again, really good feet from Park. It's very tidy football, very dangerous. You can't allow Jess Park to have room to work with in these kind of areas, coming in from the corner of the 18-yard box, heading towards the edge of the D, and just manages to curl one just past the post. Potentially could have crept in there, but alas, still 1-0 England. It's been positive. I think England and Vegan would probably wanted a couple more goals at this stage, but again, that's more of a testament to Ghana putting up a very decent fight.
Yeah, indeed. Ghana now breaking to the right-hand side. Nia Mekye picks up on the ball. Yaboa now inside to Aston Taylor. And now Nia Mekye is going to knock it down the line. Ruben Moy, will win that foot race comfortably. And it's back now to Morehouse. And across to Letitia. Of course, that USA team last night has more top flight experience than most national teams. Yeah, again, that's probably true. That's a testament to the strength in depth. I think England aren't far off it, though. And here is Aggie Beaver Jones. Pulled back a little in there, but nothing too egregious. I think the big thing for England is that if there weren't so many injuries coming into this international break, our 23 team probably would look, much stronger. You'd consider the likes of Kendall would probably be playing 23s.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think, there's been a lot of praise of Serena Vegan bringing through the youngsters. And I think, to an extent I agree, but how much of that was forced through injuries? Would she have done it if James, Hemp, Williamson, Greenwood all were fit?
Yeah.
Would she have done it, and Najimang as well? Would she have done it if Millie Bright hadn't retired, if Mary Earps hadn't retired? That's the question for me, but ball over the top. Like, would Hannah Hampton have played both international games if she was fit?
Yeah.
Or would we have seen Anna Morehouse? And, if Kerr Keating was fit, would we have seen her given opportunity? That's just the question for me. Kendall into Walsh, knocks it wide now to Bronze. It puts it into the area, and again, Conlan out well to claim it. She's done well tonight. As I say, Conlan, apart from that big blunder she made a few moments ago, she's looked fairly comfortable.
Yeah, that's just been a strong performance so far. It's mainly the reason why it is only 1-0. But it's exactly what I'm talking about. When you are going up against a higher quality nation, you need a goalkeeper. You're going to be under a lot of pressure, so you need a goalkeeper who can withstand efforts on goal, who can make even just making the simple saves means that it doesn't get out of hand. Because if every shot is going in, you're going to concede a lot. But if you've got a goalkeeper who can at least stop, prevent some efforts, then you're going to keep it to a respectable scoreline. And I think that Ghana have got a keeper that has done very, very well in some very difficult saves so far.
Park. Now Kendall. Letitia back to Kendall. Mead. Kendall. One back in there. Well, it's a bit of a mess in there, but it will be a Ghana free kick.
Yeah, Lorca and Kendall kind of trading blows there. I thought Kendall was fouled initially, and then she became.
I don't know. I don't think there's much wrong there from Boy Lorca.
Yeah, maybe not. I think they're both a bit soft. But Boy Lorca was the one to end up on the floor, so end up getting the free kick.
Here is Boakye. Well, Ghana are going to treat this a bit of a long ball situation, as it's punted forwards, headed away though well by Lucy Bronze. Now Walsh.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot going on in the middle of the pitch, and obviously England have had some forays forward and into the Ghana penalty area, but I think the one thing Ghana needs to start looking to do is starting to come at England again, because it has only been that one shot.
Yeah.
It was on target, but yeah, only one shot so far in 39 minutes.
But yeah, I think it's been a fairly tame affair for both sides. I mean, you wouldn't believe it's the 40th minute.
No, you probably wouldn't.
I feel like it's absolutely flown by.
Yeah, I don't think England have particularly got going. I didn't really expect them to. It is a rotated side, and certain players in this team are good. Are aware of the fact that the domestic action is coming back, and it is only an international friendly. So I wasn't expecting a 110% performance for England. Ghana are probably. I think they've ebbed and flowed a bit. They've had some really good passages. They've had some more difficult passages. Yeah, a lot of people slipping and sliding on this turf. I know it's raining, but I'm surprised. I've seen quite a few people fall over in the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know the reason.
No,
I'll blame the Southampton surface.
Yeah,
it's a high quality pitch. It's not, you can't really blame it. Perhaps the wrong boots on for a few players this evening.
Yeah.
Beaver Jones back now to Letitia. He's going to play it forward. Flick on there from Kelly. Finds Jess Park. He wants to go down the line. Strong defending in there from Nia Mackey. He knocks it out of play. Now it's an England throw-in. And it's with Taylor Hines. Kendall. Back now to Missy Kearns. Taylor Hines, now Park. Kelly, back to Park. Who's going to cut inside. Not Kelly, by the way. Missy Kearns. Kelly's not on the pitch. Bronze. Now Letitia. Back to Ruben Moy. Walsh knocks it wide into Bronze. Now Mead. He looks to drive that ball inside. Finds Missy Kearns in a pocket of space. Who takes it? That's a really good save again there from Conlan and Missy Kearns. Unlucky not to have a goal yet in this game.
Yeah, again, ball falling perfectly for Missy Kearns. This effort was much better. Picks it up really nicely in a lot of space around the penalty spot. Gets a good shot away. Lashes it towards goal. Again, contact was decent, but a bit too straight. Got to try and put that either side of the goalkeeper. Either way, patted away well by Conlan round the post. But yeah, Missy Kearns could have had a hat-trick by now. England looking to end the half strong.
And so it's Taylor Hines over this corner. And again, she'll hang it into the area. Bounces around off the bar. And it's hooked away well by Dewar. And that's out for another England corner.
I'm not sure how much contact there was with any England players. I think Conlan again made a bit of a hash of it.
Taken short, and that's caught everyone, including the cameraman, out. It's just Park. Blocked well. And now Ghana will look to break away. Letitia on hand, though, to deal with the danger. Here's Hines, as England now look to recycle this. Beth Mead, time and space to work with. Ball into the box, headed away. Still bounce around the area. Here's Nia Mekier, one back in there by Bronze. And now England will slow it down, let everyone take their position once again. Here's Hines. Just settling into right back at the moment. Walsh back to Hines. Now Letitia. Missy Kearns. Ruben White. This guy goes down the line into Beth Mead, who bounced it onto Jess Park. Now back inside with Beth Mead. Ball into the box, headed on. It's going to drop for Bronze, who plays it back inside to Beaver Jones. Tries to touch it down back to Bronze, and that's blocked well by Nia Mekye.
Again, good foot for England. I think Beaver Jones has probably just got to have a go with this one. I'm not sure she realised the position that she was actually in. But again, well, combining well with Bronze, and eventually it was Lucy Bronze who got the shot away that was blocked, and is now out for another England corner to as we close towards the half. A bit of a succession of corners here for England. Yet to score from one though.
Ball in now towards the back post. It's headed down. Hines. Out wide now to Mead. Puts it into the box. Headed towards goal by Wumoy, but that's over the bar.
Yeah, again, kind of got under it there with Wumoy. Not a bad ball in from Mead. Looking for a few options in there who'd stayed up from the corner. Picked that with Wumoy. He just got too much on it and looped it over the crossbar. Yeah, it's not a bad delivery at all from Mead. Right area with Wumoy unmarked. Probably would have wanted to do better with that one.
Yeah, Paul Hepton, one of the streams, says hello. Would really like to see different options for Bronze and Walsh. Yeah, I think the fact they've both started the game against China, both started tonight is a little disappointing. I think it was strange to go full strength against China because you look at this side and say, well, you take them out, it looks very inexperienced. But I'd like to see a bit more rotated side in both games rather than full strength and then just a rotated team. Here's me. But I think it shows the problem that England have in those positions is lack of other options. Beaver Jones gets the ball in the box. That's cleared. That's dealt with well by Ghana. And we've got 2 minutes of additional time in this half, one of which has already passed us by.
Again, good from it. It's Missy Kearns again, who seems to be popping up in all the right areas, just not a contribution or anything to show for it so far.
Her movement's really strong though. Beth Mead now drags her effort wide of the mark. Not bad though from Mead. They're cutting in from the left-hand side.
Yeah, again, Ghana, few problems from their own goal kicks. And lucky that Beth Mead doesn't punish there and find the bottom corner. I think it's been very brave from Ghana playing out. It has been a bit hit and miss at times. But on the whole, it's looked pretty comfortable. It's just been those, a little bit too regularly where they have been losing the ball. And having to ride their luck a bit in those kind of situations.
So, long now from Conlan. Well, actually, she's going to move the ball slightly and then take it longer. By the time she kicks it, the referee is going to blow for half time. But the ball does now get punted to the left-hand side. And there is the half-time whistle. England leading here at the break. It's England 1, Ghana 0. The only goal of the game coming from hometown hero Lucia Kendall. And St Mary's has been trekked to what's been a fairly competitive fixture so far, as Ghana have been able to hold their own. But it is the Lionesses and the European champions who lead going into the break.
Yeah, 45 minutes that I think we pretty much predicted in the build-up, and everyone thought that in the previews. England mostly in control, looking bright, looking sharp, not at full guns blazing, not firing all cylinders, but the rotated 11 is doing the job so far, and Ghana have put on a decent performance. They've definitely raised their level. They're definitely finding one of their better performances. We know they've definitely, we've got it. They've got it in them. We know they're a good side, and they've turned up at St Mary's and played very, very well. I think they've frustrated England, made it difficult for them, and I think without the error that in the opening stages that led to that England goal, this may be 0-0 at half time. So it's one of those where massive credit to Ghana. They've put on a good performance. England have still played decently well. Yeah, it's exactly what we expected, I think, really. Ghana to turn up and play well, but England to just have that little bit of extra quality that has made the difference in that first 45 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been super impressed with what Ghana were able to do. Of course, this is a rotated England side, and you could make the argument that if this side played against China and the side that played on Saturday played tonight, that perhaps it's a different story and China may have put up a better fight and Ghana perhaps would be struggling a little more. But I think this is still a very strong England side. So to discredit Ghana's performance in that way would be, I think a little disappointing. I think Ghana have been really strong. I think they've done, I think they've done a lot better than I would have expected. I think, especially defensively, they've looked disciplined, they've looked regimented, they look physical, and I think that's really important. But yeah, I think I'd want to see them come forward a little bit more. We saw occasional glimpses. They took a shot. Other than that, they've not really been able to get the ball forward. I don't think we've seen enough of Nia Mekwe running at Taylor Hines. I think if you can really get the ball at her feet and get her running at Hines, that's a real opportunity there for her to shine. So I think that's been a little disappointing that Ghana haven't mobilised that enough. I think I've been really impressed with Asantewa. I think the way that she's able to carry the ball forwards, the way that she is able to shift her body position in possession, the way that she's able to read the game, I've been really impressed with. So I think she's a player that I would be intrigued to see if she gets to step up to a higher quality league. I mean, the Liga MX is a very good standard of football, but I'd like to see her make that jump into the NWSL or make that jump across to Europe because she looks a really sharp player. But yeah, I mean, they look a disciplined side, Ghana. I think they've given England a really good game in that first 45, and I hope they continue to do the same into the second half.
Yeah, what they've done is they've given themselves something to work with. They've given themselves a platform to build off. At this point on Saturday, China were 5-0 down. And from there, you can't really do anything. What at half-time can you change when you're 5-0 down to the European champions? But by being disciplined, being regimented, Ghana have put themselves in a decent position. So, obviously, it is only a friendly. It's not like they're going to turn us around. It's going to be a brilliant comeback. And but they've got something to go out there and fight for now. They've got to keep this up and keep showing their quality and proving to everyone that they can compete with some of the best sides in the world. So it has been a really strong 45 minutes, and I think that they've got to try and springboard off that. I think they've been positive on the ball. I've been massively impressed with the bravery and possession to turn up against one of the best nations in the world and try and play out of the back and try and play your football. I have a massive credit for and a lot of respect for Ghana for doing that, because that is brave, it's bold, and yes, they have been caught on the ball at times, but there's other times where they have managed to play through England a little bit and look to progress up the field. And my one criticism is they need to just try and get the ball a little bit further up the pitch. They're doing well to progress it, get through that first phase, but once they get over that halfway line, they seem to lose it and the move breaks down. If they can get the front line on the ball and get them causing a few more problems to that England back line, then maybe they can get something out of this game. But yeah, only the one shot so far, and that was early on, and it did force a save out of Morehouse, even though it was comfortable. But yeah, just even it's a few speculative efforts will give Ghana even more positivity. But I don't think they can have any complaints so far. I think it's been a really good 45 minutes. They have taken the game to England. They've made it difficult for them, but I think it's even more impressive the fact they haven't just sat on their line and held on for dear life. They've actually tried to make a game of it and come at England, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for that, and it shows the kind of quality that they do possess and why they did end up coming third in the AFCON in this year, because they are a good side and a well-oiled machine. So yeah, credit to Ghana because they've played well, and England have played well enough to get the job done, to be in the lead, and I think that the 1-0 is probably a scoreline on merit right now. I wouldn't say Ghana deserve to be in the game or be level, but England probably haven't played well enough to be 4 or 5-0 up.
I think, just to slightly disagree with that, I think England have had a lot of opportunities in that first half. I think on another night, Missy Bogone's probably have a brace by now. And Phil says, to be fair, we should be at least 4-0 up in this one, but just missing chances. I think that's probably too far the other way, but I would say that England have had opportunities. They probably should have taken more by now. So to give England their credit, I don't think it's been a bad performance at all from the Lionesses. I don't think they've really allowed Ghana into their half. I think they've been creating quite a few chances as well. They just haven't really been taking them yet. But yeah, it's been an interesting game. I think it'll be interesting to see what England change in the second half. I hope that we see change at half time. Bronze and Walsh, I think, will be the two players I focus on getting off the pitch, because they played the most football out of anyone, other than I think Letitia as well. So she'd be another one I think about, because I think she's looked really fatigued in recent weeks. Mark Skinner is probably going to be on the phone any minute now asking if he's going to take her off. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, I think we see hopefully some changes in the second half, a little bit more experimentation. Standing out from that first half though was Lucia Kendall, not just for the goal, but it was A well taken and well acted upon goal.
Yeah, exactly that. It was a good move from England. It was Kendall that started it all off by knocking the ball out to the left-hand side. But another really professional and mature performance from Kendall. Again, the reading of the game is very good. Just makes that run into the penalty area, and as soon as she sees that heavy touch, like her eyes light up, she pounces on it and slots it past the goalkeeper. And it's really effective play. Punishes the error and finds the back of the net, and a big goal for her. One that she'll definitely remember. But again, it's another really good 45 minutes from Alicia Kendall. I think a player that everyone has been impressed with this season, but it's the adaptability, the way that she stepped up to face each challenge this season has been phenomenal. I mean, obviously, first of all, the step up from Southampton to Aston Villa, she's made that look so simple and so easy. And then the step up from playing for Aston Villa to playing for England, and again she's handled that so well and looks right at home on the international stage. It's when a young player looks so comfortable in playing in these kind of games with these kind of players that they're going to be a star. And I think that also it's the fact that she's not a passenger on this football pitch. A lot of some young players, they get an opportunity, they get a cameo, and they're almost too afraid to make an error or to slip up. They just play it really safe. It's so refreshing to see such a young player and a young talent look so free and look so composed on the international stage. She doesn't look like she's worried about whether she's going to be in future squads or not. She doesn't seem to be worried about making a mistake. She's going out to play football. It's why she's on side of Villa, because it's brave, it's bold, and she backs herself to go out and perform. And as I said, to think that she's gone from playing in a very short amount of time, gone from playing Championship and lower league football with the likes of Southampton to now being a starter for England and playing every single week for Aston Villa. It's a massive step up and a massive credit to her for that, because I think that again, for a player to look so comfortable on the international stage at her age is a massive talent.
I mean, she continues in this vein. Do you think next summer there'll be big clubs swooping in for her?
Yeah, I think definitely. Obviously, it depends where Aston Villa are come the end of the season, because you never know. They could be 10th, they could be 4th. I have no clue.
They keep playing like they should be 4th, and they somehow look close to the 10th.
Yeah, so it's been a weird season, but I think definitely. I think there'll be teams looking at her. Arsenal don't have a defensive midfielder. I think that might good.
I don't know if she fits the mould they need, though.
Oh, she's not an attack midfielder. Sorry, I forget. That. She's got to be an attack midfielder to play defensive midfield for Arsenal.
I think it's more she's not a lone six, which is sort of what I'd say Arsenal need. But I think she'd be brilliant at United. I think that would be the perfect move, because United have so little depth, or City for that matter. To be fair, City have repurposed Laura Blinkett-Brown to help out in there, but I think both Manchester clubs would be looking at midfield depth. I think Arsenal need something a bit more defensively minded. I think Kendall's a brilliant player, but not exactly what Arsenal need. I don't think Arsenal are in any position to turn it down, but how little money or how little opportunity Kyra Cooney-Cross is getting, I think it'd be a waste of money to go and buy Kendall. But I think that they're sort of similar mould of players. Kendall a little more productive in front of goal, I would say, but similar players. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if she does get a move next summer. But I think if she keeps performing like she is, there'll definitely be interest.
Yeah,
and Villa could cash in very handily. But,
yeah,
it will be interesting. We had a comment from Sharon Diddle saying thoughts on Spain winning their third Nations League in a row. I think the only team who cares about winning the Nations League, or cares about the Nations League, is the team that wins it, because no one else cares, really. It's a friendly competition. It's a bit like winning the Audi Cup.
Yeah, it's one of those where, of course, it's nice for them. They were very happy, but I just think it seems to be getting not worse every year, but a little bit less important every year. I think the first year it came in, fair enough, but now with the amount of games that are happening, I think, obviously, now having a two-legged final and a two-legged third-place playoff, what is that? Because it just ruins everything, because yes, Spain have done it, they've won it, and fair play to them, but in that first 90 minutes, they were quite poor. I don't think they were very good. Germany the better side, and if that was a one-legged final, Germany would have probably won that game.
I would get rid of this international break we're playing right now and do it like they do the Champions League, where they play the Women's Champions League qualification. Like it's the first or second round where they have the semi-finals.
Oh yeah.
And then the final, and they're all at one venue. I think that's the way they should do the Nations League.
Yeah.
You know, have a set venue, and then you play the semi-finals on like the Saturday and the final on the Tuesday or something like that. But of course they've milked it into 4 games.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah. You don't. I've never been a fan of a 2-legged final, and I think the Nations League has proved exactly that, because Germany got nothing for the first 90 minutes, and especially when it's 0-0. I mean, 0-0 was pointless. Neither side got anything from that. But you know, in terms of if it had been a 1-legged final, it would have gone extra time penalties. It would have been a different game. But losing Germany now, you look at that final, they lost 3-0, but they get nothing for their first leg performance.
But I also think it just doesn't fulfil the purpose. The point of the Nations League is that the friendlies are boring, right? So no, you know, let's have at least some competition. But the Nations League is always in the same year as the major tournament, because in the years we don't have a major tournament, we're qualified for major tournaments.
Yeah.
So it always ends up like this year, where it completely killed some of the Euros group games, because we'd already seen those matches in the Nations League twice. Yeah. So by the time we got to the Euros, it was the 3rd time those sides were meeting. So I think that was really disappointing. I mean, like England-Spain, we've watched that game now. That was 3 times this year alone. Yeah. And that's, you know, that's not as exciting for me. But yes, I don't think the Nations League fills its purpose. I think in the men's game, where there seems to be a bit more difference in the groups, I think it, you know, is slightly better. It's still not great, but yeah, I didn't think it was. I didn't enjoy it at all, really. So yeah, I don't think there's much point to this. They've got to rather had international friendlies now, because we'll be in World Cup qualifiers next year, I assume. Yeah. And then you play international friendlies before the World Cup, so you can prepare for it, rather than having to play the same times you're going to play at the just before the Euros, play the same times we're going to play at the Euros. That for me doesn't make any sense. So I'd get rid of the Nations League personally. Don't know how many people are bothered by it. And the World Cup draw is Friday, 5 o'clock. Wasn't aware of that.
No, it's not. Men's World
Cup. Harry,
what
are you doing? Oh, I didn't realise. Yeah, that makes more sense, to be fair.
Yeah, I was going to say. But yeah, no, I think that it's one of those. The whole, again, we've mentioned it, the whole schedule needs a complete look at and rework, because of course this is a great opportunity for Ghana tonight. It's been a good game for England. It's a nice opportunity for fans to, you know, in Southampton, to go see England play. But I think if you asked a lot of players in that England squad right now, they'd rather be having an extra week off or something to rest up and not having to play these games. But yeah, we'll see. First Nations League is something they can sell for sponsorship, TV, etc. Friendlies, gave more control to the individual associations. Yeah, I just don't enjoy the Nations League. I don't know how many people do. I'm sure if you polled most people, they wouldn't be that bothered by it. Again, it's exactly the only people that worry about it, the people that are in it. If England make the last 4, we're going to worry about it. We'll sit here and we'll want England to win it, of course. But you know, it's exactly the same. Spain have won it 3 years in a row now. But if the next Nations League they turn up and they're not in the semi-finals, will they be bothered? Absolutely, I can tell you they won't be. But in a sense, I'd rather not be in the Nations League, because I wouldn't want to be tonight watching our strongest 11 play 2 90-minute matches in a short time span. I mean, Spain have just lost Aitana Bonmatí. She's out now to the end of the season. Or there's a chance she could be back in May, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, she's out for the rest of the season. I mean, Barcelona will probably rush her back, but you know that's a huge loss because of a game that didn't really matter. Yeah, but there you go. Anyway, England to get us back underway here at St Mary's. It's Missy Kearns from the middle, knocks it back, out back. Underway for another 45 minutes here at St Mary's. England taking on Ghana, leading by 1-0 in this international friendly. Ball pumped long. That's headed away well by Boakye. And now Ghana will look to break down the left-hand side. Kursi intercepted well in there by Kira Walsh. And Bronze left one in there. Oh, sorry, had one left on her. Well, that's the right-hand side. And now we get to see Nia Mekye running at Hines. And Hines deals with that really well and knocks it back to Morehouse. Again, Ghana just showing they want to pick up where they left off in that first half. You know, showing intent, showing positivity, trying to cause England problems. So, you know, it's really encouraging to see side come at England and try and make it difficult for them, even when they are the underdogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a great tackle by the referee there.
Plays advantage. Asantewa. Yaboa. Knocks it down the line. Great flick there from Niamekye, who gets away from Hines. Ball in now, and that's a slice of an effort. And that is disappointing. Drops now, though, for Simon, who looks to beat me down the line. Cuts it back, and it's blocked well by Letitia. Kendall now under pressure. That, though, the best chance for Ghana in this game. Brilliant from Niamekye. Beat Taylor Hines with ease, and now looking to take her on again, but she's missed time. That and is offside.
Yeah, great start to the second half for Ghana. As you say, great ball down the right-hand side. It's a good ball in. I tell you what, Boya Halorka will want this one back. Such a good ball. Sits up so nicely for her. And just misjudged it. Swings a leg at it. Swings a miss. Quite far off in the end, actually. She had her eyes on the ball the whole time. Just completely misjudged the flight of it. Yeah, good. A big opportunity that for Ghana to at least get another shot away and to test Morehouse. But yeah, very positive, very fast start for the away side.
With Moy. Now to Letitia. With Moy. It's interesting to see England sticking to the structure tonight, which I think is important, but I think it shows exactly what the intention is, that once Greenwood's fit, she'll play on the left, in that left-back position. Because in possession, she ends up on the left-hand side, then of a back three. And that does create the problem still at right-back of who can replace Lucy Bronze.
Yeah.
Hines. Now to Missy Burkens, because we don't really have another attacking right-back. Hopefully Aria Dennis will develop incredibly in the next year. Or Ella Morris will come back from the ACL injury just, incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
Niamekye playing it in behind. And Letitia takes it down comfortably and knocks it back to Morehouse.
I think Letitia is a player that needs a good game. And again, I think this international break, it'll be interesting whether it helps her. I think that, yes, she's been fatigued, obviously, by having to play so many games for England and Manchester United, but I think that maybe 2 good performances might just help her out a little bit after a bit of shaky domestic
That's
form.
a great delivery there. It catches a couple of the Ghana defenders out, but they've got away with it. Boakye poking it past her own goalkeeper there, but managed to recover it. That's a great ball in from Bronze that caused a bit of confusion. Park now to Taylor Hines. Goes back to Moy. Flicked on well into Park. Missy Kearns, ball into the area. Bronze tries to meet it, head away well by Simon. And then Kusi can't quite take it down the line.
Well, people say communication is one of the most important things in football, and this is exactly why. Again, good football from England. The ball knocked out to Lucy Bronze. As you say, great ball in from Bronze, and there's no communication here between anyone in a Ghana shirt,
Boakye
really.
And Duart. It's Boakye who pokes past their own goalkeeper there, and then gets back in.
Got away with one. Massively got away with one. It's been a couple of times where the keeper's just kind of come running out to get a ball. Either isn't calling it or is getting ignored by her teammates.
Kendall now made. That's blocked well by Boakye and out for an England corner.
Again, another good combination down this right-hand side for England. Nice move. Moving Moy with a good pass into Kendall, who released Mead. And a good block there to stop Mead's cross reaching its intended target.
Indeed. Played down now for Ghana, and that is Simon. And I think she just got caught here potentially. Oh no, that is a worrying one. She's pulled up there and she's trying to chase Beth Mead. That will be concerning.
Yeah.
Looks to be muscular.
Initially I thought it was just Mead's studs catching on the knee, but maybe I was wrong.
It didn't look like any contact on that replay. It's great to see there a strong travelling Ghanaian support, an array of instruments in that away end. I'm sure providing a vibrant atmosphere. And well, we pan to the England fans and they look cold, I think is the way to describe it.
Yeah, probably they don't seem to enjoy themselves as much as the Ghana fans are. That's exactly, these kind of friendlies for teams like Ghana are absolutely brilliant. Gives an opportunity for their fans to come over and represent their team, but also watch their team face off against another very good team. Someone who looks to be okay. I think it was. I think maybe just felt something. I'd like to see it again, but she's all right to continue. That's what matters.
Hines into Mead. Now Park. Back to Beth Mead. Knocks it down the line, looking for Taylor Hines, and that's seen how to play well. And that'll be a goal kick now for Ghana.
It's really well defended from Ghana. I think that's been my biggest praise, is that how many times do we see panicky, rushed, and weak defending from some side when they.
I think that's the thing. There have been mistakes, but it's not necessarily been panic. That's been more just a lapse in judgment often.
Yeah.
Or just carelessness, but it hasn't been that panicky defending.
No.
We see just sort of trying to get it out at any measure, and they look calm. There's just been moments of madness, really. The goalkeeper, a couple of times, just come out a little irrationally, and it just makes it all look a little bit more frantic than it actually has been. But I think broadly, they've defended rather well in this game. I mean, they've done well to get this free kick to almost the halfway line, just by keep throwing it forwards. But Akye lumps it forward, headed on well in there by Boya Hlorkar. Drops now for Simon, who wants to take on Bronze, gets the better of a ball in. Cleared away well by Letitia. And as far as Mead, though, now Bronze. And she'll get a bit more of a launch on it. Brought down well by Asantewa. Lovely control there from the midfielder. Now Kusi. Feeds it through the lines. Blocked well by Bronze. Morehouse.
Is that Kira Wild?
Sent forwards by Wembley. That's going to run through into Yeboah. Paul said, I was registered as Ghanaian in the York Sunday League for 2 years, despite being a very white Yorkshireman. After convincing my manager I was from there. That sounds like a would I lie to you prompt.
Yeah. That really does.
I don't trust you, Bill.
That's incredible. That's the case. That is brilliant.
I feel like I've heard Lee Max say that before.
Yeah. Very true.
But yeah.
That's incredible. But yeah, I think that England would like a second goal, just to put the game beyond doubt, make it a bit more comfortable, and then you can bring on the likes of Godfrey.
That's a tell you what, takes it past Walsh well. Hines gets back in there though. Gives away possession. Here is Simon. Tries to play it forwards. Mead cuts it out. Here's Beaver Jones, who I'm sure would want a goal this evening. If she can get one. Kendall. Now Kearns. Turns and finds Letitia. Bronze. And now Mead. And Simon there leans into the challenge. I'm not sure there's too much wrong with that one, but deemed over-aggressive by the referee.
Yeah, it was strong. I think she's a bit unlucky.
She just leans in. I don't think that's
too much. Not nothing in that really. Mead does well to win the foul, but that tackle there just demonstrates the intent that we've seen from Ghana for the first 55 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can keep it up for 35 minutes, they're going to come away from this game with a very respectable result. Even if it isn't a win or a draw, even if it is a loss, it's going to be a very hard fought game and a performance they can look back on and say, I tell you what, we've done bloody well there.
Hines and Mead over this then, the double Arsenal threat. And it will be Hines to take. And that's not a bad ball towards the back post. Bronze heads on target. It's safe down Park. How she missed that by such a massive margin.
Dear, oh dear. Jess Parker's got to do better with this one. Great ball in. Bronze with a brilliant header towards goal. Hits the crossbar. Falls to Park, who I don't really know what she's tried to do. She tried to take a touch maybe and just got it horribly wrong. But just lightly lifts her right leg at the ball and just knocks it wide.
Yeah, it's a bizarre one. Very much a bizarre one.
I can't really think what she's tried to do there. I mean, she should never go on with her right foot, but I think she's tried to take a touch with her right foot and she ended up being really heavy. For England readying changes by the looks of things, I think it was Clinton and Blinkilda Brown who were being readied, which you'd like to think would be for Walsh and
Bronze.
One of the wingers. Yeah, Bronze.
Ball into the box. Header on target. It's on the bar. Back to Beaver Jones again. And Conlan gets up to it well. And England tempting for a second. Nothing giving at the moment, though. Cat Lanterns, welcome to the stream. Who says, dropping in, USA played Italy. And I was underwhelmed with how Italy performed compared to their Euros performance. Cat McCarr had a sick goal. How was this England being? I didn't expect 1-0. Yeah, I mean, Italy are a side who used the Euros, or used the sort of the atmosphere around the Euros so well, and they were brilliant defensively. Doesn't surprise me too much, though, because I think when you look against like the England game, they were brilliant defensively, and they took momentum into that game, but there were moments where they did ride their luck. I think in terms of this game, England have been fine. It's a rotated side against a Ghana side who've actually looked really up for it. So I've not been too concerned. England have had opportunities to extend their advantage and they just haven't taken them. So I'm not unduly concerned at this stage. That will change coming now for Ghana, and we'll find out those changes shortly. England also looking to make some subs, but that is Boa Dua off for Ghana. And she'll be replaced by number 24, who apparently is not on the bench.
Oh. Well, that's not.
That's not helpful. Could see the other player making way, the wide player. And so it is Coffee Kim and it is Marfo. Coffee Kim's listed number 93. No, that's a different Kim. Coffee Kim's not listed on the bench, according to FootMob, but she is coming on. And Princess Marfo also coming on, a player for Nordsjælland. And I believe may have made a move to the USL, if I'm not mistaken. No, she is still at Nordsjælland. She did have a season at BFC.
But England readying a triple when the ball next goes out.
Ball in behind, and that's handball from Marfo, who takes aim. Saved by Morehouse, but it will be pulled back for the use of the arm.
Good. Well, what an introduction, though. Ball gets played over the top. It's a really good run. Gets in between the two centre-halves. Yeah, obviously the use of the hand did help with her a little bit to keep the ball within her grasp, but well played and got a shot away. And that's sharp. It's what you want to see when you bring on an attacker. Them almost getting involved immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. As for England's triple, we saw Lauren Hemp, which I have to say I'm very disappointed by. Love Lauren Hemp, but do we need to see her in this kind of game over Freya Godfrey?
Probably not, no.
Here's Park.
And again, Andre Yeglets, we sat there thinking, why on earth is this happening?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of the Duracell managers are all sat there right now.
I like the fact they're all sat in the same room.
They're all watching together.
Yeah. Fuming about the injury.
Skinner's hosting a viewing party at his house. Got a projector and everything. That'd be brilliant.
Let's just say that's a good pick off in there. Here is S&T. Just try and feed it through the lines. That one intercepted though. And now Park. Walsh. Brilliant switch of the play there, looking for Lucy Bronze. Brings under her control well. Simon forcing her backwards. Here's Laetitia. But I think the big difference between this game and the China game is that, Ghana they've been much more intense. They look a lot sharper, which I think is important. And that, has made it more difficult for England. I think China, they dropped off every time England had possession and they were just inviting England into their half, which is not a sustainable way to play.
Yeah.
Really. They're just so deep.
Yeah. I think that It's been a bit more positive in the second half, but
Yeah.
I don't think on the whole they've been positive. But yeah, I think they'd like to have a few more efforts on goal at least.
Yeah, challenge Morehouse, the goalkeeper,
Yeah.
we haven't seen tested much in this international break. Double change or triple change for England potentially. That first one, Hemp coming on to the field, Jess Park making way. Missy Beaucoeur's next to depart, and that'll be Laura Blinkwood-Brown into midfield. Good to see her given an opportunity. And the other player is Lucia Kendall coming off for Grace Clinton. They're all players who didn't play on... That is such an odd choice. All players who didn't play on Saturday were replaced by players who have, to be fair, only Hemp was involved, but yeah.
But Walsh
is going to probably play 90 now then.
Surely Clinton comes on for Walsh and you just play a Clinton Kendall pivot for the last half hour of the game.
What's the worst happens? We can see to Ghana, oh no. Like, it's a friendly. Why is Walsh still on the field? Blinkwood-Brown can play that deep role. She's done it all season for the top side in the WSL. But apparently, she couldn't handle it against Ghana.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. It really is. Pulled down the line from Yeboah. One back in there well. And then immediately given away. It was Grace Clinton in that. All through the lines. Looking for the run of Marfo. One back, though, by Lucy Bronze. Shaman says, why not Godfrey when the competitive games start? Godfrey won't get a look in. Should play her now. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a shame we haven't seen Godfrey. I think it's it was a good starting 11. I think the subs though have been odd.
Yeah.
Godfrey sat on the bench. Denton sat on the bench. There's players who love to play for England, and you've got Walsh and Bronze who don't need to play 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Given the fact they already started on Saturday and they have to start again this evening, and they've both got very busy schedules over the next few weeks.
But also, Denton and Godfrey are two starters for the 23s. So what is the point in calling them up if you're not going to give them any minutes?
Yeah.
They might as well just gone and played last night for the 23s.
And they'd have got more from that. They've played against a very strong side, so they don't get a single minute here. If they are going to get an opportunity now, it's going to be quite late into this game. Ball into the box, and that is going to drop for Simon now. Squares up to Beaver Jones, looks to dart inside, gets away from Mead. And Hines receives the cross on her chest and clears it away. No one from Ghana really challenging for that ball. Out now to the right-hand side. Nia Mekye. Asantiwa back to Nia Mekwe, goes down the line. And that's a brilliant dart there from Kim, who cuts it inside looking for Princess Marfo. It's going to drop for Mead, though. And England now can look to play out from the back.
Yeah, Ghana just can't quite seem to get that final shot away. Couple of decent opportunities there. A few more touches in the England penalty area, but not managing to pull the trigger.
Laura Blinkwood-Brown now into Hemp. Wants to come inside, plays it into Blinkwood-Brown. Drops now for Walsh. Bronze. So it's just integration into the team for those players. She gets to work with them in training. I don't buy that's a good enough reason to not let them go and play in the 23s. It's two international friendly. There's no reason why they should be limited to 25 minutes at best now. Absolute waste of time. Blinkwood-Brown cuts it back. Chance to Beaver Jones, and it's blocked wide now for a corner.
Yeah, I think I agree with Phil's point. If we're going to see them again, but are we going to see Godfrey and Denton in this squad again? I mean, potentially, a lot further down the line, but I don't see them. If more people are fit, I don't see them that's handball. And yeah, I think they are going to have a look at it.
And I forgot we got VAR for friendlies.
I mean, I'm not quite sure why no one's has protested that. That seemed to be quite obvious. I don't know if we're
Yeah, I
gonna
think
get
it's one of those players forget they've got VAR. So
well, we are just going to... If we...
apparently VAR's checked it, it's fine. Ball in. That's cleared away. Right, Dua knocks back to Mead. It's going to go all the way back to Letitia. You look to recycle it. Hines, Mead. Back to Walsh. Hines, now Letitia. And that is blocked by Nia Metye, and that's too aggressive in there from Grace Clinton.
It's Clinton again now. Come on, just keep pushing people on the floor.
Yeah, giving the ball away. It's been a bit of an odd first few minutes.
It's been a while since she didn't start on Saturday, did she? No. It's been a while since she's played, consistent minutes or proper minutes.
Yeah, she hasn't had. She's had a few injury problems at City. And I mean, to be fair, she's not really in a natural. She's not really had any minutes in a natural position. It's played on the left wing a bit for them, but a little odd at the moment, that deal.
And I think now she's stuck in a position where, because it's going so well for City, why would Jeglet's now try something different, or bring her into a side that is already ticking along nicely?
Hemp puts it in there. That looked like it was blocked with the arm by Boakye, but no protests.
Yeah, I think that one was okay. Again, was that Clinton again, by the way, that just caught Conlan with her boot on the head as she ran away? That is asking the question. I mean, I think was it Clinton who just ran in there? Yeah, it was. Yeah. And just
still looks a bit
caught her there.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I just don't get that. That felt very avoidable.
I think it was just about the chest. I looked close with Boakye.
She jumps and then she drags her, brings her back leg through, just catches the Ghana keeper on the forehead.
Strangely deliberate. I don't really get what she's doing there. There we go.
What a weird few minutes it's been since Grace Clinton came on. She's managed to foul 3 different people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still only the 1 goal. Of course, Ghana have played very well, but I thought by now that England might have just pushed on in the second half and maybe found 1 or 2. Have to say, though, the weather is really not dampening the spirits of the Ghana fans. They are loving life. I mean, that bloke's brought his sunglasses. I think he came to the wrong country to bring sunglasses, because it's absolutely chucking it down right now in Southampton. I don't think his shades are going to do much. Yeah, what's football's all about? What an opportunity for the Ghana supporters to have an opportunity to watch.
They're still very much in this game.
Oh, of course they are. I think they're watching their side compete against the European champions while also having a great time.
In Southampton.
Yes.
It's not many times you have to get to go to Southampton.
Yeah.
Anyway, ball out now to the right-hand side. Nia Metye. Holds it up well. Dua. Back to Nia Metye. And now arrowing a pass back to Boakye. Now looking just to play it in behind. That run through, though, to Anna Morehouse. Wouldn't Brent Brown bounce one back into Letitia. Now Clinton receives it well on the half turn. And shifts it into Lucy Bronze, who can play it inside. That's a weak pass, though. Mead will try and battle back the ball. But it's held on to really well in there by Kudjo. And now Conlan. Dua. Playing it forwards, looking for that run in the channel. Doesn't quite come off, and Nia Metye can't hold on to the ball in there. Now it's out for a Ghana throw. Try to see who that is stripping on the England bench.
Surely Godfrey gets a go at some point. Maybe not. Who is that? I have no idea from here.
It's like Anna Morehouse, but it can't be.
That's what I thought. But, yeah, 20 minutes. Ghana will back themselves to get a goal. I'm sure there's a point where they just, take off the handbrake and just go for it. Can either cut this game losing 2-0 or drawing 1-1 with England. Either way, that's a good result.
Yeah.
I think they'll learn a lot about themselves though, Ghana. So that if they play like this, they should get to the World Cup. They play like this in 4 years' time, they'll have a great shot.
They have given up a lot of chances, and this is a second string England side. So I think they definitely deserve some praise. But
yeah, but if they play like this within their confederation, then they will probably go on to win quite a lot. And as I said, they should be at the World Cup. Nigeria will be a very interesting game, but
I think Nigeria are a fantastic side.
They are. That is true.
I don't think you can compare really to a front line of Gift Monday, Asisat Al-Shawala and Rashida Ajibade.
It's quite good, isn't it?
Ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And Chiamaka Nnadozie is such a difference maker as well.
That's the thing, yeah. They score goals and don't concede. That's exactly what, it doesn't happen. So it doesn't matter what happens in the middle of it. That's another good ball. In England, of course, England have done well. They're doing the job. The performance has been enough to keep Ghana at arm's length. And as you say, there have been a couple of missed chances. But I thought by the 72nd minute, we might have seen more than one goal.
Mead. Missy by Kearns. Kendall. Walsh. Now it's with Blinkilda Brown. Lovely turn in there from Clinton. Tries to hold on to the ball, commits a couple fouls in the process. Still holding on to Kudjo in there. He's trying to resist the press. And now shifts it, and once the ball's passed, he will complain about that to the referee. And near Mekier, they're trying to play up the line. It's blocked by Hines, and then Hines with the shove. And that is given as a Ghana free kick.
Yeah, so they're doing really well to manage this game.
And Alessia Russo's on the pitch.
I just don't get it.
Amy Jones making way, Alessia Russo on in her place.
Who gains from bringing Russo on for 17 minutes in this kind of game?
Rather than a Godfrey, rather than a Denton. Cool.
Russo doesn't
gain. Amy Jones can't get injured now. Maybe down the stairs on the way out or something.
That would sum up St Mary. But Bruce doesn't gain because does she really want to come on for 17 minutes and risk picking up an injury? Arsenal and Slagers won't be happy. Is it going to make a massive impact on the result? No. Even if it does it matter? No.
Russo might score. That'd be nice for everyone who's gone to St Mary's.
That'd be nice. I think, they'd like another goal.
Down this to the box. That's an England free kick.
Yeah, really good feat from Beth Mead. Ghana aren't happy at all, but that is a free kick. I'm not really sure what their complaints are. It's a good shimmy from Mead, and yeah, she does just get caught on the heel as she knocks the ball through. It's definitely a foul.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a chance for England to, and this is why Beth Mead should never come on, because I think she's all right. She is fine, but imagine if she had put on an injury there.
She's still hunched over, does seem to be okay, and once again it'll be her and Hines to stand over this one. Well, the last one met bronze at the back post, and they do it again.
Taylor Hines might fancy this, or Beth, but might either of them be what?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking aim from this sort of range. The goalkeeper's done okay, but that's made some pretty glaring errors, and she looks tiny in that goal.
Yeah.
Beth Mead lays into Russo, and that's a good save. Smart routine there from England. And it's a really good response from Conlan, who reads it. Gets across the shot well.
Brilliance all round. As you say, very crafty from England. Beth Mead, perfect way to pass. Just lays it into the runner Russo, who timed it well. Very good effort with her first touch of the game. And forced a very good save out of Conlan at full stretch. 2 hands behind the ball, turns it round the post.
The travelling supporter's a big fan of that stop. Ball in towards the back post. Header there, looped over the bar by Lauren Hemp, who just got under it and sends that one over the top.
Yeah, again, probably should do better here, Hemp. Unmarked at the back post. And just gets under it. the ball hit her head more than she headed the ball, and that might not. That sounds a bit silly, but rather than her making an action to move towards the ball and get some control on it, she kind of just stood under it while the ball and let the ball hit her head.
Yeah, double change by the way for Ghana. And that is probably the two most exciting players from this evening coming off. Bar Asantina. It is Nia Mekye and Boya Hlorka. So replaced by Adu Beu and Bardu.
Yeah, look good. But again, a shuffling of the pack for Ghana in that front line. 14 minutes. Oh, imagine the reaction from the travelling supporters if Ghana were to find an equaliser in the final 14 minutes. I think they'd be buzzing with their trip to Southampton. Even still, 1-0 is a very respectable scoreline, albeit a friendly. I think there'll be a lot of positives to take for Ghana tonight. Unless they completely fall apart in the next 14 minutes.
SNT are out now to Bardu. Not down the line by Yeboah, looking for Kim. It's had a play though for an England throw.
I don't think they've got one change left. No, now out of changes now.
Yeah, out of subs. So we won't see Anik Denton and we won't see Freya Godfrey. So that's good. Laetitia.
Morehouse was it had nothing to do second half. She wanted to try and run onto that and get a touch on it, but Laetitia wasn't having it.
180 minutes, by the way. That is confirmed now for Laetitia.
That is ridiculous.
A player who already looked incredibly fatigued.
Yeah. Who have United got at the weekend? I can't remember now.
United play. They've got Wolfsburg. No, Lionesses, haven't they? Next week.
Yeah, next week. I'm talking about the weekend.
The big one.
That is the big one, obviously. Yes, of course. It's a massive game.
United play the mighty West Ham, then OL Lionesses, then Tottenham, then Juventus, and then Tottenham.
I mean, I think they could probably rest Laetitia against West Ham.
Well, who are they going to put there? At least England have got other centre-backs they can play there.
True.
United don't have that luxury.
True.
And they've got Lionesses on the Wednesday, then they play Tottenham in the league, then they've got Juventus in the Champions League, and then they've got Tottenham in the League Cup. Brilliant scheduling, love that. Can't wait.
What a run!
Of course, we can't foresee. They can't foresee that, but that is,
fun.
But yeah.
Issue here for one of the Ghana players. It was a bit of a weird one. Her own teammate cleared the ball into her face, and I think it probably just stung a little bit. Especially with quite close proximity as well. Going to hurt a bit, but should be right to continue. As we approach the final 10 minutes of this friendly, which has been a very weird game. I thought the first 45 minutes flew by and was, as you say, didn't really feel like I was ready for the half to end. It felt like both sides were just starting to get going towards the end of the first half. Second half has, I think, been England just trying to be comfortable and reasonable, and Ghana again, they are happy with the way they're playing and the kind of mentality they're going into this one with.
Clinton wins it back well in there. Mead. Now Clinton, lovely turn from the England midfielder, looking to shift the ball wide. That's over here. It's not been the most impressive cameo, I have to say, from Grace Clinton. I think she has struggled slightly.
Yeah, it's been a difficult one. I think she's caused more stoppages than she has completed passes at the moment.
I don't know if I can find that stat on bottom.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, but you shall have a look down the bottom. But yeah, again there, just another misplaced pass.
No, there's no data
for
this game at all because it's international friendly.
Oh, wow.
So we can make up our own stats.
You know a football game has got to a bit of a bad point when a light show happens in the crowd.
Yeah.
I hate it. It just frustrates me so much. It's terrible.
I want to be involved.
It's terrible. Just...
Hopefully Coldplay will come out.
I was going to say, maybe they are there and we can't see that.
Out there from Simon. He just catches Beth Mead. And that will be an England throw.
I think one thing Ghana do need to get used to is the amusement when they give away a free kick. Because I don't understand
like this.
how you think that isn't a foul. Beth Mead knocks the ball past her and she just stands on her foot.
Yeah, just overextends there, Simon.
But I've never seen a player look so confused how she's giving away a free kick when she's just stood on someone's foot. Now another opportunity for England to get the ball in the box. Again, it's the same two over it, Hines and Mead. Will they try something crafty once again? Could Hines just try and curl this in at the front post? I highly doubt she'll go for it, but
she should back herself.
Yeah. Or Mead can still do it and go round the wall.
Yeah, just nick it into that corridor of uncertainty. Hines is going to just lay it into the box though, and that's headed away by Dua. And now Adubia. Just knock it down the line. That's come off Adubia, and I'm not sure again why she's confused about that one. Now, Wayward Wind says Clinton has looked out of sorts all season. Lots of fouls. Can't keep the ball. Yeah, it's been an odd one. I think it's 6. I don't think there's been although I don't think there should have been a winner out of the park. Clinton swapped it. I think they both got a fairly good deal. But Clinton has made that look, or at least how Clinton's performed at City, or lack of performance at City so far, have made that look like United got the much better deal. But I don't think Grace Clinton's a bad player at all. So it has been interesting to see her struggle to acclimatise to that system. I think it's been difficult because she's not really broken into that midfield, and that is where I think she would suit that system best, is playing in that where Viviana Miedemar plays, that sort of second striker or third midfielder role, that more advanced midfielder role. I think that's exactly what she'd be suited to, but instead we've seen a little bit of her on the left wing when they had an injury crisis, and other than that she's been out for most of the season.
Yeah.
So hopefully we start to see more of her in midfield. I think she came on in midfield in the Manchester derby. By that point in the game, they were in cruise control. But
I think this international break has just been a bit of overflow from, as you say, not quite suiting and settling into life at Man City. And I think that obviously, what frustration will come with that a bit. You kind of feel everything, I think, when you're trying to settle into a new club, especially when you picked up an injury. When new club, new manager, all you want to do is hit the ground running, get into some good form and impress, and you pick up an injury and then you're not starting, and then you feel like your opportunity's already come and gone.
I found it very interesting. There was an article in The Athletic the other day, by the way, Russo dragged down this article in The Athletic talking about how Grace Clinton actually almost moved to Tottenham in the summer. She heard that Martin Ho was going there, and with a year left on her contract, there apparently was interest. How good a deal would that have been?
Tottenham would have won the league. No. Maybe a gout set as well. That team would have been ridiculous, but yeah, that would have been a brilliant signing for Tottenham. And maybe it would have been different because, again, she would have been the star, the big name. Team would have been built around her, which not obviously fully built around her. But
I don't think they need her though. To be fair, they've got Olivia Holt. That is true. I think Olivia Holt's such an underrated player. I saw a graph the other day that showed, I don't know if I saved it, but it showed statistics. She looked really good.
Well, yeah, because she's actually playing football. I think Villaham would still be in a job if he played Olivia Holt, because he'd have done enough to stay up. Because it should have just carried them to a better position.
I'm definitely not going to find it now, but
another foul there by Garner. Walsh brought down. Feels like we're getting into that phase of the game where after we ticked over the 80th minute, it seems like Garner have got struggling to keep up with England and now just resorting to kicking them, because this is the 4th or 5th free kick in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Have found this. WSL expected threat. It's outrageous how high she is on this graph, considering everyone else is down here and she's just up here by herself. But yeah.
Expected threat. What does that mean?
Expected threat. That is... so it's obviously looking at threat, which is how threatening you are towards goals. But what it does is it takes the most progressive passes and progressive carries and looks at carries into the final third and passes into the final third as well. So it looks at who is being threatened themselves but also creating threat.
Fair enough. Well, that sounds pretty useful to know.
Cool.
I don't like Vegan's new coat.
What? Why?
It just looks, I don't know. It's a terrible colour. And yeah, I'm not really sure why she's changed. 5 minutes to go. Welcome to international friendlies, everybody.
Ball down the line. Now it's with Letitia. Clinton. Now Letitia. Bronze. Plays it inside. Flip around the corner there from Mead. Into Blinkilda Brown. It's one back really well in there. And then picked off by Walsh. Here's Russo. He holds that ball up well. Walsh. Hemp. Ball in. And that's playing well. I think that's where Russo shines. That's what we haven't seen enough from Arsenal. It's that ability to hold onto the ball under contact. She's really good at withstanding contact. I think she's really good at that side of her game is so strong. We haven't really seen that enough this season at Arsenal. Tending to drop too deep. She doesn't really have the opportunity to play as a hold-up striker. Letitia. Now with Moy. That's picked off there by Adubia. One back well though by Clinton. Game's become a bit scrappy in midfield. Just a lot of fouls, a lot of... not really getting a string of passes together.
No, I think that England are trying to come forwards, and Ghana's response at the moment is to halt them by bringing them down, which it doesn't represent the way they played for the first 80 minutes, but I think it's just that fatigue setting in, it's just that tiredness coming. They've done very well, to be fair, to stay at the standard that they were at against a side like England. They are going to make another two changes. Is it going to be in this break, or is it going to be in the next one? No, they're going to call it. Well, physios are coming on anyway because there's a player down with an issue for Ghana. But a couple of players down in the second half will probably contribute to a few minutes of additional time. Yeah, so Ghana, with their last roll of the dice, final two changes going to come on. And this here is an injury caused through trying to make a tackle. So yeah, it was actually a mistimed tackle from... I can't quite tell who is down, actually. But yeah, it was just a mistimed tackle on Walsh that gave away a free kick and has ended up injuring herself, which isn't ideal. But yeah, I mean, a goal now for Ghana would be an incredible feat. I think England will, of course, they'll be pleased to win the game and get the job done, but I think they'd have expected a bit more.
So Ghana here, by the way, going for their 5th and 6th subs, I believe. So friendly rules, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, it's friendly.
Make as many subs as they want.
And after all, I mean, I'm not sure about that. They had the whole time to make changes while their player was down injured, and yet the players managed to stop receiving treatment, be allowed back on the pitch before the subs were even ready. I'm not really sure how that's happened.
No, they're just precautionary subs. They got them ready just in case.
Well, they both stood there, look at it, just getting instructions. But they've been given instruction about the last 5 minutes.
This is why the players even bother with those tiny shin pads. I know, I hate them. I saw there was a non-league club that has mandated proper shin pads, which I thought was great. But it came because one of their first team players suffered a double leg break because he was wearing those tiny shin pads, and obviously they offer no protection.
Yeah.
So I had a big challenge and double leg break.
It's absolutely daft.
Ball in, headed away. It's got to drop now for Walsh. Mead. Walsh. And, this whole, but, if they're lighter and they're small, you can move more freely. I've seen Eden Hazard play with proper shin pads on. I've seen Lionel Messi play with proper shin pads on. I don't think anyone, especially if you're not a pro, that's not even funnier.
Yeah.
Not you're playing step 5 football.
Because at least I think at the professional level, you can kind of trust that the opposition aren't going to put in a horrendous, dangerous challenge because they're professional footballers.
Oh, don't tell that to Wesley Fofana after Vicente Iborra in a friendly.
Yeah, that's Vicente Iborra. He's a bit of an outlier.
We have got 6 minutes of additional time as well in this game. Not really sure why.
We've had 8 minutes across the two halves. International friendly.
Sure.
Um,
The ref's got nowhere to be.
but yeah, as you say, Lionel Messi did not need these really tiny shin pads with holes cut in his socks and wearing grip socks.
Equally, Pele didn't play with any shin pads. So.
That is true, so maybe Lionel Messi's rubbish.
It all just comes back around, doesn't it?
Yeah. The cycle.
We'll be playing without nets soon.
I just never understand. I just don't get it. I think the whole point is there for your personal safety. Why would you not want to put on a proper shin pad?
Ball in now from Mead. That's headed away. Of course, mine in the 90s were built with ankle guards. Still got home with red and purple shins. Yeah, I used to have a little bit of ankle protection. Only because I broke my ankle. Chance now for Hemp, who bursts down the line, cuts it back. Russo bounces around his bronze. Back in there, chance of Russo. Oh, that not coming.
Oh dear.
So many players bounce around the goal, and now it's Ghana will break away. Princess Marfo on the break. Tries to play it through the lines. One back by Letitia.
There must have been some force on that goal line to stop that ball going in. How has Russo not found the back of the net there? Another glaring opportunity missed by England. Dear oh dear. England could have easily scored a couple more tonight. That is a big miss. Oh, they're VAR checking
Was
something.
it handball on the line?
Maybe.
Would be my best guess. Given the way it didn't go in the goal.
Potentially, I'd like to see a replay. Yeah, there must be something that clocked it because the ball hadn't even gone out before they told the referee to stop the play. Here we go, Russo's header. Yeah, that's I can see why. Okay, now I see it wasn't a force, it was handball. I mean, how has no one seen that? I know again it's a friendly, but surely players would be screaming for that.
Yeah, the competitive side would come out.
And the referee's going to have a look. Oh, this is what, like, yeah, here we go. Referee's going to go over there, watch it a couple times. Sorry, some bloke's just got to fold it up at St Mary's. It's offside. It's not offside. It's handball. It's a penalty. It's going to give England another opportunity.
Yeah, that looks fairly blatant.
But of course we need to watch it 1,500 times. Still watching it, just in case no one is convinced that is handball.
This will be interesting to see who takes. No Georgia Stamber on the pitch. You'd assume Russo. No Kelly on the pitch. Oh, here's a penalty for England to the surprise of absolutely nobody. And a chance now for England to add a second goal in this game.
Oh, the
and that's got the England fans back on their feet. So who's going to take?
That's a very, very good question.
Oh, and one will find the answer to
Me?
very shortly. Answer it now, Harry. Who's taking?
Beth Mead, I'll say.
I'm going to say Russo. Or Letitia. Or Bronze.
There's a good shout.
It's either Taylor Hines or Alessia Russo. I'm hoping it's Alessia Russo, and it is indeed.
Beth Mead was loitering, though. Did you see her?
No, she just stood.
Wow.
Didn't bother running over to the screen. Let's just get more else on it. Yeah?
Yeah, why not? Like, it's
Let her
FIFA.
get national goal.
But it has been
This makes more sense because Russo could one day be
89 minutes since England scored.
Russo stepping up. England with an early goal, now looking to add a late goal. Alessia Russo steps up and dispatches off the penalty. It's England 2, Ghana 0. Coolly taken by Alessia Russo. And that caps off what has been a fairly comfortable victory for England, albeit much lower scoring than perhaps they should have been.
Yeah, good penalty from Russo. Keeper goes the right way, but couldn't quite get down to the corner. Conviction that from Russo. Picked a spot and found it. Good mix between placement and power. But as you say, the fact that it has only been 2 goals in 94 minutes for England, and that second goal has come in the 94th minute, will be a little disappointing. And we are going to see Anouk Denton. I believe she's just come on while we're watching replays.
That's phenomenal. I hope she enjoys the 6 seconds she gets to play. Well done, Anouk Denton. That's brilliant. And now Lucy Bronze will be completely ready and raring to go on Saturday. Now she's got that 6 seconds rest. Here's Denton. At least she'll get a couple of touches.
Oh, brilliant footwork.
To be fair, we have got a VAR check, so maybe she may get to play 12 seconds.
Oh, Lucy Bronzy buzzing with that one.
Pointless stuff. Kendall. Not Kendall, sorry, Clinton. And that is a stupid tackle from Kira Wild. But here come Garner.
Ref closed her eyes.
Oh,
I think. Carnage, sorry,
Back
just descended.
in possession.
Oh, dear.
I just don't get that at all. Why wait that long and then bring on Denton? There's 15 minutes after Russo came on, where they could have brought in Anouk Denton. She would have got more.
Yeah.
6 seconds plus however long the ref fancies playing for now. And she's going to book Kira Walsh for a foul that she completely ignored. Awesome.
Oh, dear. 97th minute in a friendly. I know it's principle, of course, but... Oh, and now because she was writing in her book, they're taking the throw too quickly. It's the right thing to do.
I think Kira Walsh would be very happy there because she could have got a second yellow for that.
Commit another foul. 97.
And that is full time here at St Mary's. England 2, Ghana 0. A nice win for the Lionesses. Not a vintage display, and there were chances there they could have taken, but a really good display, to be fair, from the visiting Ghanaians, who gave a good account of themselves against a very difficult opponent. A goal in the 6th and the 96th minute. England starting fast and leaving it late for a 2-0 win. And a nice 90 minutes in between, where not a lot happened, but I hope you have enjoyed. Incredible to see so many people hopping in for a game that is on free-to-air television in the UK. And yeah, great to see so much support. We just have one other thing that we haven't done yet on the show, which is celebrate. Because last Thursday, most people will know, not last Thursday, Thursday before that, we were not here for Chelsea vs Barcelona or all the other Champions League games that night because we were in Leeds. Harry, why were we in Leeds?
We were at an award ceremony.
We were at an award ceremony. And we came home with the Silver Award for Best Young Content Creator. So we thought we might as well, on our first stream back since then, show off the awards. So we brought it here. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks everyone that voted for us. This is as much your award as it is ours because we couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you very much. This is the award. Don't know where we're going to put it just yet. It's been on our mantelpiece for the last week. I think when Christmas rolls around, it's probably going to get moved somewhere. We could just put it there.
Yeah.
Always look at it. I think the glare's pretty bad though.
Yeah.
On the TV.
And it's always blocked, but never mind.
We'll never say it. So we'll find someone to put that. But thank you to everyone who voted for us for that award. And yeah, it's a great opportunity to meet people. So yeah, thank you. And hopefully next year we're going to win something. That's our plan. Join us next year. We're coming back for a goal because we want their fancy little glass things. We want one of those to bring in the studio. So yeah, thank you. And thanks everyone in the live chat for saying congratulations. Appreciate it massively. But yeah, next year we're going for gold. That though is everything. We're back this weekend. The WSL returns at long last. The WSL is back. We've got a video dropping tomorrow on a certain American winger whose contract expires this January. Look out for that. But yeah, back with the WSL this weekend. Very much looking forward to its return. We're live on Saturday for Arsenal vs Liverpool, and we're back on Monday. Unfortunately, no streams on Sunday this week, but we are back with WSL and Champions League next week, and then more WSL and then Champions League. A lot coming up before Christmas. That was everything. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.